Welcome, everybody, one and all, to my first actual, Zombies top 10 games of the year. I'm actually doing one of these. Is it really a PowerPoint? Amazing. It was like the, I was thinking about doing a, it is a PowerPoint though. I'm sorry if that's I was thinking about making an actual YouTube video for it, but I was like, this is the best best way I can think of doing it on stream. And that is one of the things I want to do next year is I want to implement, there's no actual gameplay that I'm going to show off, but I want to record gameplay for next time, so we have to do that. But this came up a lot faster than I thought it was going to. This month just flew by. So I will be giving, so how this is going to work is I will be going down from 10, of course, to 1. And I will be giving like a brief summary of what the game is. I imagine most people know what it is, but just so for those who do not know, not all of these games have been on my channel stream wise. Some of these I've played in recreationally for fun. And it'll be it'll be basically a list of pros and cons of things I liked and things I didn't like. Even if they're amazing, there might be some dislikes that I had and some problems, but I digress. Let's go. And then after this, I will be asking what everybody's game of the year is, their personal game of the year. And then we'll like have a little discussion thing, like people can be like, I think this was way better than, you were right either way. Good. Because this is like straight up my opinion. But here we go. Sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends, of course. Number 10. Monster Hunter Rise. This game is, in my opinion, the best Monster Hunter game ever made. And those who love World more, suck it. But yes, so this game is basically, the story's kind of whatever. The main thing is you're hunting giant beasts with a bunch of weapons, and you basically just you turn them into clothes. That's it. That's what you do. Turn them into clothes. So the pros so far of this game: the addition of Palamutes. So Palamutes are basically, as you can see in the picture, are these dogs. They have had palicos in all of the Monster Hunters that at least I know. I'm pretty sure they've been always in there, which are these cat creatures that would help you in a fight. They'd heal you, they'd fight, they'd lure the monster away if you ever get in trouble. But they just added dogs, added puppers, which is such a good addition because they function very differently than the cats. You can ride these things into battle. You can just ride them, they'll fight alongside you. There's an Okami skin for them. There's so many different, they can wear their own armor. They're just so unbelievably amazing. And they better not be a one-off. I imagine they won't. I'm just, you gotta have the dog. Wire bugs completely changed the movement and the combat in the game. So they added a new mechanic called wire bugs, which are basically, if you want to think of them, they're kind of miniature grapple hooks, which can hook the air. So you can basically pull yourself diagonally straight forward, and it just like zips you like 10 feet forward or up, and it just completely reinvigorates everything. You can use it in combat, like something a monster about to swipe from you. You zip like 10 feet away. You also like this game? It's very, very fun. The zip away from monsters. You can each weapon has its own like little has 2 different moves that are associated with wire bug moves. And I use a switch axe, and it is so fun. You zip straight up in the air, like flail your giant sword axe, shoot straight into the monster, and then it basically, there's like a timed explosion attached to the monster where you connected, and it will explode. It looks so cool. It's so amazing. It's so fun. And it just zipping around the map super fast. You're just like, you're making so much more progress movement wise. The speed is phenomenal. And climbing, you can like hover in the air. Like you climb up cliffs and just zip back up them. And that actually continues. The large open levels packed with variety and depth. There are a lot of big levels in this game, worlds or whatever you want to call them. They are so varied. So the basic map isn't too, there's like a hill and some rivers with some waterfalls, which is, this whole game was like, basically they wanted to add verticality to it. So they made everything like multiple layers to everything. So there's like a desert map, and if you go on the upskirts of the area, it's just like it's like there's mud pools, there's rocks, there's cliffs, there's a massive sandy desert section. But if you go down, there's like a crevice, like a massive crevice and crack you can just fall down, and inside is a bunch of ancient ruins. And just there's a massive cave section you can fight in. It's so amazing just how much variety they added to these levels. The lava level is like half lava, half water. Like you climb up a volcano, and then you basically end up, or if you can slide down, you can end up in a massive underground water river, and it's just, you can fight down there. It's very neat that they didn't, because at least from the lot that I remember, all of the lava levels were just like, okay, it's just a straight up volcano, that's it, there's only lava. Just seeing some variety is amazing, and then having the verticality, you can just climb up hills. You can just basically go anywhere in the level. You can climb. You see this old abandoned watchtower. You can go up there. You see this massive mountain in the distance. You can climb that. It's just, there's so much that you can explore, and it rewards you. And there's also a large variety of monsters. Of course, there aren't as much as some of the old games like Generations or 4, but what it makes up with that, it basically brings back the amount of detail that World had. The monsters just feel so much more real, like exactly like World. In Generations, they were just kind of, they were a little bit puppety. They kind of had like scripted stuff, but in World, there's so many different unique animations for them. There's a lot of returning ones. I'm trying to think if there's that many new ones. There's a bunch of new ones. This game is themed mostly around ancient Japan. So a lot of the monsters are ancient Japanese creatures or deities. For example, the flagship monster, Magnamalo, which is in the picture here, is basically super duper Japanese. I don't know exactly what the inspiration was, but it's really neat. And then they also bring back a lot of fan favorite ones. There's a couple that I do wish that they would have brought in, but just the amount that you have to fight is breathtaking. I didn't count how many there were exactly, but very good. And then there is streamlined, fast-paced gameplay. World did sort of fix this a little bit, but it wasn't quite as fast as I would have liked it. I really did like what World did. So basically, old Monster Hunters, Generations, and 4U, which are the ones I played, were extremely slow games. Running was extremely slow. Climbing was extremely slow. Just everything. Attacking, just, you felt like you were a snail the entire game. And in World, they improved that. They made it a little bit better. But now, with the addition of wire bugs and palamutes and just so many other small details, they have made this game so much more fast-paced, and it's amazing because they balance the monsters for that. They make them, the monsters in previous games, they were very slow. They were very slow and clunky. And in this game, they're actual like super aggressive hulking beasts, like they should be. Like, for example, like, look at this thing. Look at Magnum Mallow in the picture. If that thing moved like just the old games, it would have been a joke. But this thing will literally hunt you from the depths of hell, and it will find its way into your home. And it's so impressive. And that actually ties into, there's a lot less stun lock in the old Monster Hunters. Oh my god. Oh my god. The stun lock was terrible. You could get stun locked for a minute. I've had it happen so many times where you just sit there. You get hit once and you just get knocked down, hit again, hit again, hit again, end it. And then you like lose a bunch of stuff. In this game, you have the ability, because of the wire bugs, you have the ability to, if you get knocked down by a monster, you can immediately zip yourself away and recover. It's so amazing. I didn't know how amazing the wire bugs were going to be. There's going to be a lot of amazing, by the way, in this video, in this stream, of me gushing. Until we get to the later part, there won't be as much amazing stuff. Whatever sounds like a lot of stealth gameplay trap. It's just everything that I could ever want, and I hope that they keep bringing them back. You can now ride monsters. I didn't put this in a pros because there's probably a couple things I forgot to jot down, but they kind of reworked the mounting mechanic from the other games, where you basically ride the monster, hold the button when it's jutting around, and then stab it when it's stunned. But now they added a mechanic where you can basically ride them. You can ride any of the monsters in this game, and you can use them to fight other monsters. Like, you just ram them into them. They all have their unique combat attacks. You can dodge with them. And then they all have like a special where they will do a massive amount of damage. They can inflict status ailments. And then they just kind of F off, and they'll leave you alone for a while, which is really nice, because when there was multiple monsters in the old ones, it was really annoying, because it's like, oh great, another piece of shit to fight and dodge, and it was just not great. But now whenever a monster jumps in, it's like, oh, look at that big weapon that I can use. And you can just fly around the map. Like, some of these, you just feel like an absolute badass. And then after you get off of them, it actually will use the wire bugs. Actually reminded me, because you said a trap. It will tether the monster down to the ground with the wire bugs, so that you can actually, as soon as it regains like its composure, it will attack you, but it will be stuck onto the ground for a certain amount of time until it kind of breaks free. So you have like, it has a certain range, so these attacks that would be super terrifying to get hit by are no longer as threatening, and it's just so many new details and abilities that are just phenomenal. And this is the last of the pros. It literally takes the best of the classic Monster Hunter and the best of Monster Hunter World. It has seamless open world, no more loading screens. It took the amazing. It took the the smithy system from World, which was very good. It's like a tree. Like, there's weapon trees now. You can actually see what you're building towards, and unlike the other older games where you just kind of had to make it and then see what it unlocked. And the amazing additions from Classic Monster Hunter is just the amount of monsters, the old graphic style a little bit. It brought back a lot of good stuff. Like, the classic feel, I should say. Like, World dumbed down a lot of stuff, and they brought back a lot of that stuff, but they like put it in the middle, where it's like, it's not annoying, but it's not super dumbed down. It's like the perfect middle ground. And now we get onto the cons, my problems that I have with this game. There has been a surprising lack of content updates, especially since playing World. There have been 2 monster updates. Well, I mean, I shouldn't. By lack of content updates, I mean, Streamer hates the game. Yeah, worst game. This is actually my worst game of the year, number 10. They have been adding like costumes and skin. Like there's been a Sonic collab. There's been a Okami collab. There's been a bunch of like Street Fighter and just other Capcom games. But there haven't been any any big monster updates. There's only been 2, and they were pretty soon after the game launched. They released 3 or 4 new monsters in the first update, and then 1 in the next one. And it was really disappointing because they gave us a free like surprise monster with the first one, and people were expecting, okay, what surprise monster are we going to be getting in this one? And it was just 1. They added Apex monsters. I'm not counting those. They're just like harder, stupider fights. They literally there's only like 4 or 5 new monsters that they added after the game, compared to World, where they constantly would add amazing creatures like Devil Joe. Devil Joe is not in this game. It makes me very sad to see Devil Joe is not in this game. The giant green angry T-Rex pickle is not in the game. But to counter this con, there has been a DLC announced that was coming out this summer, which is about the size of Iceborne, which is a DLC that came out for Monster Hunter World. And it should be about the same size as the base game, which means double the monsters about. And I'm hoping my angry pickle can come then. You hate the death pickle? There's so many monsters in this game that have returned, like Kezu or Anjanath. Anjanath's not bad, but that could be difficult. Kezu especially was really bad, really stupid. I hated Kezu. They made so many monsters actually fun to fight now because of the Wirebug stuff. There's so many times where you couldn't get away from a monster. You get stun locked, especially with Kezu. You could stun locked for days. They have nerfed some of the abilities. Pickle was cool. Pickle was. That was the one I was really secretly hoping for. Everybody was. That's honestly my favorite monster. I really hope they do bring it back in the DLC. I will definitely be buying that. I put so many hours in this game. I will put so many more hours in this game. They've reworked so many monsters. They've like especially well. Let me get to this other point before I bring that up. So the story is very lackluster in this game. I mean, you're not playing it for the story, but my god, it's better than World, but hardly. There's like 4 cutscenes in the entire game, and this is like, wake up, Hunter. And then there's another one when you get like halfway through the game. Magnum Mallows, evil, or gonna kill us all or something. And then there's another cutscene. We won! We won! The game's over. Here's the credits. It's just so bland and pointless. Like Monster Hunter 4U had an actual good story. That actually, you know, like they gave you a reason to keep fighting monsters and like pretty uniquely. In a World, it was just like World had the handler, so I'm not even gonna get into that. Oh, the frickin' handler. Yes, this goes back into the characters. The characters have absolutely 0 depth. I cannot tell you a single character. There's like 1 character that has a minor amount of depth, or 2 characters or twins that have a minor amount of depth just because they like speak riddles for like a second because they're like possessed or some crap, and then that's it. Also, they had this problem in World, and I was really hoping they'd fix it. I mean, there's hardly any cutscenes in the game anyway. They have really cool monster intros, but they don't have like actual story cutscenes. The mouth sync is so bad. It's just like World. World was horrible. I was so. I know it's like it's not meant. There's not an excuse. There's not an excuse. The lip sync is terrible. It's really bad. The characters' mouths will just move so out of sync with everything. Yeah, bland characters. You wish you brought back Bracadillos? There's so many. I will definitely play that DLC. I'm very excited. I'm hoping they add a lot of things. And this is kind of, I was going to go into this a little bit, but there's not many noteworthy Elder Dragons in this game. In the base game, there were 2. And I don't even remember their names. They were the final 2 bosses of the game. and they were Ibushi and Narwa. That's it. They were identical boss-wise, except one was wind and one was electricity. And they were just kind of gimmick fights. There was nothing interesting about them. They were extremely easy. They were so boring. They were so unbelievably boring. And then for the base game, that was it. Just those two. No others. Especially since, like, it would have been kind of nice, but... The first content update, however, did release 3 more Elder Dragons. They added Kushe Deora, Teostra, and Chameleos, which Chameleos hasn't been in Monster Hunter since Generations. It was nice to see my sneaky poison boy back in the game. He's actually really fun to fight, but Kushe Deora and Teostra are in like every single Monster Hunter, and they're not good. I mean, they're not bad. They fixed Kushe Deora. That was the thing I was gonna say about they fixed some monster fights. You can actually fight Kushe Deora now. They completely rebalanced the wind effect. It's phenomenal. I love it. They actually fixed that. But there's still like no, and all of them honestly have been rebalanced really good. I've never fought these bosses in a better state than they are now. Like with the wire bug techniques and their new movesets, they have punishing moves, but it's just so rewarding. You didn't like the Rampagers either? Well, just wait a little bit. And then in the second content update, they added Crimson Helm Valstrix, which is the flagship monster from Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate, which I never really got to because that game is so grindy. My god, that game is so grindy. And it's a really good fight. It is insanely difficult. You can have a massive gargantuan health bar and you can get one-shotted very easily. And playing with 4 people who don't know anything. I mastered that fight though. This game is so satisfying combat-wise. You can master these fights so amazingly. Like the dodges actually sync up well. The iframes are perfect. And the fights, so they added like for Valstrix, which is probably the only noteworthy Elder Dragon in this game. Is they add, because there's turf wars. There's turf wars in this game, which are very rare. And they have a bunch of them in World. But there's a new mechanic. I can't remember what it's called, but it's an invasion or something like that. Where all of a sudden, you'll see like this red, you'll be fighting you can be fighting Elder Dragon or any other monster in the game. And all of a sudden you see a red comet in the sky, and Valstrax will literally just come a million miles out of the air and just kamikaze the literal hell out of that monster you're fighting. You thought Bazelgeuse was like the kamikaze bomber? Oh hell no. That Valstrax literally puts Bazelgeuse to shame, which they actually have Bazelgeuse in this game now. They actually put that in. But it's so fun. It's so random. All of a sudden you'd be like invasion, and everybody has to scatter. Like it's a gargantuan explosion. Somebody can just get one-shotted. It's awesome. I wanna fight again soon. I do have all the armor. And as Pancake was saying, Beetlejuice is so funny in World. Oh, they nerfed Beetlejuice isn't as amazing in Rise, unfortunately, but still really good. But yes, as Pancake was saying, the rampages are not good. They're not very good. So basically, what the rampages are is a new kind of hunting technique where you got to defend the village from a horde of monsters. And you have to place turrets, catapults, cannons, traps, all this stuff. I know you don't like Beetlejuice, Gazelle. Yeah, even in multiplayer, they're really bad. So basically, you have to defend the village, and you get gates. It's like a tower defense. It's literally tower defense with Monster Hunter, and it's just... I'm just glad they don't force it on you too often. It's really not fun, like, at all, though. It's just... It's so tedious. It goes on for too long. I'm sure some people like it. I mean, it's done well, but it's not the reason I play Monster Hunter. I want to hunt the monsters, not defend the monsters. Defend from the monsters. And one of the final bosses you do have to do in this. At least you only do them once, although in the original before they added the actual final boss. That's another thing I forgot to put on here that I will and go into a second. Is the second final boss, or the first final boss, I guess. You had to do the rampages, and you had to grind the rampages, and it's like 30 minutes in, and it finally shows up, and they're not hard, they're so easy. I don't think I failed a single time. They're so stupidly easy. And they're not worth it at all. They're just not worth it in the slightest. The tower defense game, and it's so bad, and you hated the first updates. Yes, they added a lot of rampage stuff. This game did not launch with an actual final boss, by the way. That's another thing. You do finally get a chance to fight godmother Narwa, which is basically it's the exact same monster as Narwa, just powered up. So it's almost the same fight. It's kind of a cool like set piece in the very beginning of the fight, but it's also extremely hard. I've also mastered that fight pretty good, but when you play with other people, like the only reason I fought that fight like 20 times now, because you grind for the certain loot, and you will it's just you'll just play with people and they just constantly die. It's just rough. It's really rough, but still very good game. I should probably move on to the next one, or else we'll never finish this. So number 10. Even I don't remember at this point what the order is. No, I do. Number 10 is Little Inferno. I imagine nobody remembers what this game is. I only played it last week on Thursday. And already it's number 9. It's already number 9. This is a small little indie game that Ham recommended to me. Numero 9, you mean? Numero 9. So this game is basically you're put in front of a fireplace and you burn stuff. That's literally it. It's very simple but charming. So the pros so far, it's a surprising good story. The story literally comes out of nowhere. It's just like you get little things in the mail, just like there's 3 people you interact with. You interacted with Sweet Plum, Nancy, and the Weatherman, and they all have their own little quirks, and it's just such a nice little. It really surprises you. It really surprises you that it's like, okay, there's actual lore to my fire burning game. It's a 9 though. Is that a 9? Assuming it was a 9. That had to be a 9. And it completely blew me away. I was not expecting a very story-rich game, for as simple as the game was. It is very fun, simple puzzles. Like, there are combos in this game. There are 99, in quotation marks, puzzles, or combos in the game that you have to combine certain items. So basically, you get a pamphlet or a catalog where you buy stuff and you can burn different stuff in your fireplace. And if you do a certain combo of items, you get you unlock a combo, and you get money, and you get progress. You get like all these good rewards, and they're neat. They're really neat little fun things. Towards like the middle part, they started to get really like, okay, what the hell could these be? Like, what could this combo be? It's just a nice little thing. Like, see how they interact with everything. They got some really fun items. The music is amazing. Literally, the music, Nancy's music, just everything was so good. Like, it's so bombastic and beautiful. It's just so fitting. I don't know what else to say about it. It's just, I bought the Switch version recently, and they have a soundtrack on the main menu, and I'm very happy. Very happy to see that. The simple gameplay, it works really well. It's really weird because it's like cookie clicker. It's like cookie clicker gameplay. You just put stuff in the fireplace and burn it, and it shouldn't work as well as it does. It's probably just because there's a vast variety of items that are just really fun. There's the leprechaun, there's the razor that just kind of lives and just does what the hell it wants. There is the teddy bear that horrifies me. There's just so many fun items that when you burn them, they do so many different things. Like the toaster, little tiny happy toast comes out. Oh yay! Oh, it's burning. Everything's burning. Look it up on Google and the art style. It's the ending. So basically, the entire game is yeah, there's leprosy. The leprosy, the leprechaun. The entire 90% of the game is in front of this fireplace, this beautiful fireplace, and then I streamed it, but it's also on my YouTube. The ending just comes out of nowhere. It's phenomenal. I'm a little disappointed that my plot twist didn't actually come true. Still kind of butthurt about that. That might actually be in the cons somewhere. Let's see. That might be in the cons. Waiting on items can be really annoying. So when you buy items in the catalog, you have to wait. The further you get in a catalog, the longer you have to wait. So sometimes, especially at the end of the game, you will be waiting 5 minutes. I mean, you get these coupons that let you speed it up, but it's just a thing that really doesn't need to exist, or they should at least cut it in half. I could wait 2 minutes for something, but waiting 5 minutes is just like a tacked on thing, just having to wait for stuff like that. And then there's the replay value is very low. It's just one of those games. It's not a very long game. We beat it in 5 hours. You just kind of beat it once, and then you probably won't play it. You won't be able to touch it again for about a year or two. Who knows? However long it takes you to usually replay it. But for me, very low replay value. Still, just came literally out of nowhere for me. Very good. I think that's it for cons. It was just such a short game that's hard to have a massive list for it. But it was very memorable. But that's also why it's only number 9. So on to number 8. Murder House. Oh my god, this game gives me nightmares still. I was making this PowerPoint and I was looking at screenshots of this game, and I had my door open to my office, and I was like, oh, I don't want a bunny man to be in here. So basically, Murder House is it's a game made by Puppet Combo, and they make a lot of old school horror games, like PS1 style graphic horror games. This is the only one on Steam, I believe, because this is the longest one. They usually make a lot of short, sweet games, and this is a short, sweet game. I think it was 2-3 hours or 4 hours maybe. But you play, there's a prologue, and then there's the main game. So the prologue, you play as a kid in a mall, a very reminiscent moment from Silent Hill, a Silent Hill mall, and you basically get hunted by this crazy bunny man, and it's horrifying. And Jacksepticeye is in it, but I didn't get to that part because I died too soon because I suck. And then there's the main game where you're basically a camera crew that investigates the bunny man's house, and let's just say stuff goes bad and bunny man returns and people start dying. So the pros, yes, the title is, I love this. They go for that classic feel, like a VHS. Literally says VHS. The horror is amazing. This was the scariest game I played all Spooktober. This, in my opinion, was the scariest game that I played. It was... when I was thinking about capturing gameplay, one of the reasons I didn't capture gameplay for this showing, my little my game of the year special, I was like, but then I'd have to play more of this and get more gameplay footage, and I was like, I don't even want to load up the main menu. And I don't think people would just care about that. This game, it haunts me. It is the scariest game I think I've ever played in a long time. And it does horror so amazing. It builds up the tension. You never feel safe. Especially that mall part, because it's just, oh. Game was fun to watch. It was I'm very much looking forward to what they come up with next. Puppet Combo is definitely. I'll be playing more games of theirs down the road. Oh, Murder House might make a return at some point. Who knows? Could put clips from the stream. I could, but there are too many clips from the other ones. This one had a lot of clips. So there's a lot of screaming. Yes, there's a constant dread, like just constant. As soon as the Bunny Man shows up the first time in the main story, it's unending dread. Christmas game up, yes. Shit, I was gonna stream that. That was a Christmas game I was gonna stream. It was like Christmas Massacres. I'm like, fuck. Well, we'll have to save that for another time then. I do remember that shit. Forgot about that. That's fine. That'll be for next year. It has. What kind of game though? Looking at it then. But this game has an amazing B-movie feel. Like the dialogue is so cheesy when you're like not getting hunted. Just everything about it just reeks B-movie. Like you're just straight from the 80s, like B-movie era. Like it's just like the classic slasher B-movie, and it just fits it to the T. And also, the PS1 style of graphics and controls are phenomenal. Yes, it is the B-movie. I was actually thinking about putting a little picture, like a little flash of the B-movie, but that didn't happen. The graphics of this game are like classic Resident Evil 1, and the controls are the same. It has tank controls, which is very, very cool. Because a lot of people don't like tank controls, but in my opinion, it worked really well for this game because it's just oof. And this game has like a nice filter, it's like a VHS filter, which you can turn off in the options you want. You can adjust. You can have this VHS, black and white, DVD. You can have it like multiple different old school movie styles. Whichever fits your preference. You can have it super clear. You can have it super pixelated. It's a nice little feature that they had just for people. And this, they have a amazing Nemesis style enemy with the Easter Ripper is what he's called. He's terrifying to look at. So basically, this isn't like old school Resident Evil though. This is more like Resident Evil 3, but like for like constantly you are put in this very small house. This tiny little house. Which is, it's nice because in the beginning half of the main story, they make you learn. They basically make you go through the entire house and learn the layout. Like, perfect. So, like, you can escape better. Like, you can hide in spots where I never did. It's not that worth using. Running is a lot better than hiding, in my opinion. But he can just come through doors. He will just bum rush you through a door. There was an amazing clip that we had where I was just like, I was looking because I had died and I was looking for some stuff for a puzzle, and I was backtracking. I'm like, okay, I put all this stuff down. He shouldn't be in the house anymore because we should be going to the final boss. So I was like looking for a healing item, I think. And then all of a sudden you just hear, they have fixed the camera. You just hear the door open and just horrifying jump scare, super loud music, and then just me screaming, dropping the controller probably, and just I love the fact that he can follow you through doors. It adds so much of the fear because you're just like, is he behind this door? Is he sitting around the corner? Is he under the stairs? Like, it's insane. Combo in a nutshell. The jump scares are used well and not spammed. They do a good job. Ham did tell me when she was telling me about Puppet Combo that they do use a lot of jump scares, but there weren't many jump scares in this game. Like, there's like the Bunny Man jump scares, that's gameplay, that's not scripted really. But there were only like a small little handful of jump scares, and they fit really well. Like, they weren't just like, it wasn't like Five Nights at Freddy's, like where they're just like boof, it's constant. There was like 3 or 4 in here, and they were just like quick, sudden ones. They didn't just somebody pops in front of you and it just kind of fit. And if you don't like tank controls, so basically this game, you can play this game two ways. You can play this in third person and have the tank controls, which makes it scarier based on movement, or you can play the game in first person, which removes the tank controls and modernizes the controls basically, except you no longer have the ability to see around you. So pick how you want to get scared, by being unable to run away or not being able to see if he's right behind you. And that is awesome. At some point, I do want to play this game again, and I want to play in first person because it would play like Blood Wash, which is a game that was it wasn't made by Public Combo, but they helped make it. And just having that tiny little detail, just having that option, so many amazing options these games offer, it's awesome. Easter Ripper lives in Fazbear's Pizzeria. He would fit in so easily. And the voice acting is horribly amazing. It is terrible. It's like classic classic Resident Evil voice acting. especially when you do your final confrontation with the Easter Ripper. It's just priceless. Everything about it was just amazing with the voice acting. It was perfectly cheesy. They just really made it feel like an amazing old school B movie, except actually scary. But it's time to go on to the cons. The game is short, which honestly isn't too big of a problem for me. I feel like it fit the length perfectly, but still, it was about a 2-hour game. And I'm glad they didn't stretch it out too much. But I felt like they probably could have added a little bit more stuff or a little bit more character growth, maybe. There's something to maybe add an extra 30 minutes to an hour on would have been really nice. They do have a nice little epilogue, like end credit scene that kind of adds a little bit more. But that's a con based on for some people, and it wasn't that big for me. This is a pretty minor con for me, but still, it is one. There are a lot of confusing and easy to miss items, at least if you're me, and I'm notoriously stupid, so you might be able to scratch this thing right off your cons list. So basically, they give you a fire poker as a weapon, which it's like blind streamer. It wasn't really blind. I feel like I tried. So basically you get this letter opener, which you can use. I looked this up. You can use it to, I need better glasses. I need like an extra pair of glasses. You can use it to pry open cabinets and shelves and all that. And you can find extra weapons. There is a shotgun and a pistol. And I don't know if there's ammo, but they have a shotgun and a pistol. They have healing items. They've got a bunch of other stuff you can find. But that might actually make this game a little bit longer. Like it may reduce that shortness that I was talking about. But you also have to go through the house while he's around. So it's still gonna be horrifying. Like he can just show up anytime. But it was really confusing. They don't really explain to you what the letter opener does, because I tried it on a couple of drawers, but it didn't do anything, or it was just weird. So I basically had to fight the final boss with a fire poker when they had a shotgun and a pistol in the game. So the final boss was extremely stressful. It was really weird. I remember getting a little bit frustrated with that, especially since they have limited saves like old school games. I mean, they use pencils so you can level up, or you can save with pencils, but they only naturally give you like 2 or 3. I'm glad I hoarded those like the plague. I didn't die too often, but that final boss, yeah, it was basically hard mode for me, and I wish they would have been like, yeah, you can open drawers with this or something a little bit. You use it to open one, but I was assuming like, why do I still have this? Like, I didn't know you could open more. It's probably just me. But that's Murder House. On to number 7. Number 7 is Binding of Isaac Repentance. In this game, you play. It's very much inspired by old Legend of Zelda, classic Legend of Zelda, like the first one, and A Link to the Past, I think, or Link to Link to the Past. So you play as the small child who is being hunted by his overly religious mother, who heard voices from the ceiling, or from the heavens, if you will, telling her to kill her own son. And so you basically the game is you climb into a chest, and the whole game is basically a hallucination by Isaac, trying to flee for his mother. And basically the story doesn't play too much of a part in the game. Game with the Skelly Boat. Oh yeah, I'll get into that. So there are 700 plus items that you can find in this video game here. 700 unique items. There's some items that let you shoot lasers. There's some items that give you homing tears. There's some items that give you bonus health. There's some items that give you little familiars that follow you around and shoot for you, or heal you, or help you, or do anything. There's so many freaking items in this game. It is insane. There's so many game-breaking items. It makes me very happy. Like, once you see, like, some items you see, it makes you happy, and completely, like, every run is so unique. And there are 34 unique characters in this game. All of them with different playstyles, or most of them with pretty unique playstyles. There are 17 normal characters that you can play with. You can play as, like Han was saying, the Skelly Boy. You can play as the Forgotten, which is a skeleton where you can swap between a skeleton and a soul, and the skeleton can only use melee attacks, and it can only use red hearts, and the soul uses soul hearts, and it can shoots. So you have to basically swap between these two characters. And then there's Isaac, who's the given, if you unlock it, you unlock the D6, which lets you re-roll items. If you don't like an item in a run, it lets you swap that item, and you basically can just get better loot, hopefully, or you get worse. And then there's Lilith, which she can't attack enemies herself. She has to use her familiars, and she gets an item that lets her summon even more familiars. So you can, if you get a run where you get like 5 familiars and you use the item in a boss fight, oh look, there's 10. And if you get an item that lets you recharge that item even more, you can end up with 20 friendly things. You can have an entire screen. It's like running a goddamn train with little followers that will attack for you, and it's so fun. There's so many different things you can do. There's the Keeper, who instead of normal health uses money for healing and is very hard. There is Judas, who has the Book of Belial. There's Blue Baby. There's Lazarus, who's super boring. And then not only do they have those characters, but they also introduce 17 tainted characters. So every character has a tainted version of themselves. So they basically take the gimmick of the original character and just throw them on their head. So Isaac, the character who could reroll items, now has a limited amount of items they can have. You can only have like 12 items at a time. And if you grab a 13th, one of them gets replaced. Or this Forgotten, that skull guy. Instead of controlling the soul and the body, you now only control the soul, and you have to, the only way to attack in the game is to pick up the body and throw it around the room like a basketball. You literally use it and you chuck it like a dodgeball. And Lilith, now this one's really, really weird. So Lilith is the character that uses familiars to fight. So if you get tainted Lilith, she basically, her form of attacking is she rips open her womb and out plops, and she like whips out a fetus baby that shoots for her and does damage. So you're basically playing Castlevania with a fetus and umbilical cord. So you're just like whipping it out, and she's really good. She's really good. It's it's really weird. And they added and then Jacob and Esu, which are those two characters where you play two characters at once, which I'll be getting into later. If you unlock the tainted version of them, instead of playing two characters at once, you only play as Jacob, but the entire run that you're doing, the other character, Esu, basically, if a certain amount of time passes on a floor, it will rip a hole into the ground and he will try to kill you the entire time. So basically, the entire run, you're getting chased by Nemesis. You're getting chased by the other version of you. It's really neat. It's probably hard as shit. It probably will be a con later on. I haven't played. There's so many characters I haven't got a chance to play as. And these tainted characters add so many new ways to play. Kane, whose main gimmick was he has very good luck. Well, his tainted character is he doesn't get items. You literally have to craft items. So you get a bag of crafting, and you have to take keys and bombs and health and all these different items, and you can craft them into any item you want. And I've heard it's really broken. I heard it's really fun. Because every character has a unique new gimmick that's just built off of the previous, and it's astounding. I haven't even unlocked them all yet. It's like it's so much. And there is an amazing amount of replayability. This game, I've been playing this since high school. When it was first called Binding of Isaac Rebirth. And then it was Binding of Isaac Afterbirth. And then it was Afterbirth Plus. And then now it's Repentance. There's been so many DLCs that have added so many items, so many bosses, so many characters. There is just so much stuff to do, to unlock. It's just... I feel like if I was given one game to play for the rest of my life, it would be this, and I still wouldn't... by the time I die, if I died at 100, I probably still wouldn't have the game finished. There's that much stuff. And the champion system spices up reoccurring enemies. So, take a quick drink of water. Been getting so excited. So they have a system in this game called the champion system. Or at least I call it the champion system. Basically, there's champion enemies. Which completely... So basically, for normal enemies, it gives them a unique gimmick. So if you get a black champion enemy, they explode. If you get a green one, they drop a pill. If you get a blue, they explode into a burst of tears. If you get a red one, they will regenerate. If you get like a... There's like a bunch of ones. Some will split into two. It completely adds new like threats. All these enemies. If you see an enemy before, and you see all of a sudden they have a champion one, it just changes up that room completely. And then they do the same thing with bosses. So for example, let's say you fight Mom. The first form of Mom. So there are 3 different champion systems. There's a normal Mom, where she is basically normal. There's the red version, where she focuses on stomping you. Which is, she can always do that move in her base form, but they like focus and attack. So she'll focus on stamping. And in her blue form, she will focus on summoning. Which is insane. There's so much stuff happening. So almost every enemy has a champion system. Like sometimes you'll be fighting this boss. Oh, there's 2 of them now. Oh, you're fighting this one. Oh, this one is just spams jump. It's faster. Or this one summons more. Or like they have so many different... You can fight a boss like 10 times. And each time it could be different. It's incredible. And there are 600 plus achievements for this game. Which is insane. I don't even know how many I've gotten so far in this game. It's it's mind-blowing. And almost every single one of those achievements unlocks something in the game. Be it an item, a floor, a room, a boss, a pill, a coin, a key, whatever. Like there's so many unlockables. You can unlock cards. There's challenges you can do to unlock certain items, like really good items. There's a lot of challenges in this game like that have unique gimmicks. Some of them are not that great. There's like some that's like, okay, you can only damage enemies with this hairball, like Guppy's hairball, this cat's hairball. And that's it. I've not completed that challenge, by the way. Which it's hard. There's one we play like Legend of Zelda where you get a sword and a shield. And you can get the spin attack. And you get the boomerang. It's just, there's just so much stuff you can do. It's mind-blowing. And there are item synergies. So there are, for example, you could get brimstone and rubber cement, which basically makes your laser bounce off of the walls all of a sudden. There was one where I got this item called the Book of Virtues that Bethany has, and I got like this random crappy little spinning top that does absolutely nothing. There's so many items that if you synergize them perfectly, it's just amazing. They turn absolute shit items into something great. I got the Book of Virtue, which basically you summon like little flies around you that shoot for you, and I got this top, which is absolutely worthless. And you combine those two items together, it turns that item that generates flies every once in a while into an SMG. It literally shoots an incredible amount of tiers. Like you can clear rooms in milliseconds. It's phenomenal. You can destroy bosses. There's so many like fun random ones. I don't even know where to begin. Like I streamed it. There was like there was a necromancer run with Skelly Boy with the Forgotten, where we were just summoning skeletons, and we had like scythes, and we were literally the Grim Reaper. There's so many different synergies. It boggles the mind. And then there's an enemy. There's the enemy and location variety. There are so many enemies in this game. There's so many bosses. There's so many freaking bosses. And there's so many locations. There's a cathedral. There's a sewer. There's like a layer of hell. There's tar pits. There's you can go into this chest and you can fight Mega Satan, because normal Satan wasn't bad enough. You can go into an area which is basically a culmination of all the memories of that run that you've done. So you're literally, every room is different and like reflects a memory of a room you previously encountered that run. It's I could go on for days, but I don't have days. And there are 7 final bosses in this game with different endings, each different endings, and they all have different routes and different unlocks. There's the Beast, there's Delirium, there's Mega Satan, there's the Lamb, there's Blue Baby, there's Mother. There's so many final bosses that are all different, and there's different routes that take you different places. Like you'll go home, you can go to the corpse, you can go to the void. It's just insane. So now on to the cons, which there are actually a lot of those as well. So there are some characters that are really, really bad compared to others. For example, Jacob and Esu, those characters that are basically you control 2 at the same time. They're complete ass. They are terrible. They're the most annoying characters I've ever played as so far. There's Lazarus, who's literally, he's got no gimmick. He's just bland. There's Blue Baby, who's super boring. His only gimmick is he can only get blue hearts instead of red, which makes him way worse. There is Magdalene, who is a tank, so she's super slow but has a lot of health, which is pointless when you get hit a lot because you're super slow. There's a lot of really bad characters that just, and well, on to this next point. Some amazing unlocks are tied to said horrible characters. So there's some amazing game-breaking items that would be really fun, but you have to play a really stupid, shitty character in order to unlock them. You can, like, there's the Lost, which the Lost is not the worst, but you basically, if you get hit twice, you're done. You're dead. There's the Keeper, where basically the same thing. Jacob and Esu, I don't even want to try. They make me sad just playing them. It's just, I don't want to play them. I really don't want to. And then some of the bosses are horribly balanced or rely on heavy RNG. So for example, some that are horribly balanced are the Bloat, which basically they will sit on the top of they'll usually sit on the top of the screen and just spam lasers, so it's impossible to hit them without getting hit yourself. There's literally a challenge called April Fools where every single boss is the Bloat because they know how bad it is. A lot of the new bosses in this DLC are really difficult and rely on some really stupid RNG tactics just to be cheap. And probably the worst boss that relies on RNG is Delirium. Delirium is one of the final bosses that basically he transforms into every single boss that you fought that run. Every single one. And the further the health bar goes down, the faster it transforms into other bosses, and it will teleport across the room. And sometimes it will teleport right on you and immediately one-shot you. So you'll get like 75% through the fight, and oh no, it teleported onto you? Well, you're done. Hope you enjoyed that hour wasted. And it's just... I've had so many runs ruined by Delirium, it's insane. Like, you go in, you'll like one-shot every single boss in the game, and then you get to him, and he'll one-shot you. And then there's some rooms that are literally just meant to screw you over. That's all they're meant to do. You'll go through multiple rooms at a time and you won't take any damage, and then you go into this room and you'll take damage like 7 times. Just because it's literally just meant to be an ass. And it's really rough if you're having a really good run with a really hard character and then you run into this room and you're done. That's it. Have fun. Everyone's fun restarting from the beginning. I think that's it for the cons. Yes, that's it for the cons of Binding by Isaac Repentance. On to number 6, which is an upside down number 9. Number 6, Alien Isolation. Alien Isolation. This was probably the main game from the Spooktober that I played. It dedicated most of the time to it. You're stuck on this massive ship with, guess what, a xenomorph, but also human enemies and robots, which will hurt you bad. So the pros. I think you'd actually like that game that much. It was really good. I'm a big fan of the xenomorph lore in those movies. It was definitely one of the bigger games of this year for me, especially stream-wise. It was literally the main game for Spooktober. The pros. It perfects the feel of the original movies. The look of like the monitors, the rooms, everything, it just, you feel like you're literally playing the original movies. It's amazing. It's actually amazing. Just like hearing the sounds, like the beeps and the boops and the bops. And then you see the moving sleeping beds, and you see the androids, and it just, there's so much passion put into it. You just feel like you're straight up in there. And that feeling of helplessness. They do such a good job with the helplessness in this game, because they'll throw robots at you. Like, they'll throw androids at you, and you can kill them. I mean, they're really tanky, but you can kill them. But that helplessness of how strong they are, you eventually get to the point where you get like the shotgun, or you get a weapon. You finally can somewhat deal with them. And then you run into the xenomorph. And that feeling of helplessness is just immediately re-amplified, because you can do nothing. Until, like, you get the flamethrower, but guess what? That has limited fuel. Welcome back, Cam. It has very limited fuel. Especially towards the end of the game. There was that one part where I was really worried, because we didn't have any fire. We didn't have a Molotov. We didn't have any flame in my flamethrower. And we got basically bum rushed by the alien over and over again. That helplessness is just, it's ever present. And you'll feel like you're safe, but you're not. You'll look at your heartbeat scanner, or the motion sensor, whatever it's called, and you'll just see movement, and it's moving very quickly your way, and you're just like, oh my god, where is the nearest vent? Is it coming? You don't know, because sometimes it doesn't, and sometimes there's drool coming down, and just astonishing. And enemy interactions are really fun. I really enjoy the interactions. Just the fact that it's literally everybody versus the humans. Hey Mara, welcome. the human interactions, well, basically, yeah, humans are screwed by everybody. It's cool seeing, they don't throw them at you till like towards the end, but there's like rooms where the xenomorphs, we are on number 6 right now, Mara. You've missed 4 so far, but I won't repeat. I'll give a recap at the end, but you want to hear the full spiel, then be the VOD. But yes, we are on number 6, which is Alien Isolation. So it's really cool because you'll be in a room where you will you'll be surrounded by androids, and you'll decide, okay, I need to shoot these assholes because they spotted you or there's no way to escape them. Yes, you're still got like 5. You got this one and then 5 more, and then maybe because some other stuff soon. But then you shoot. Oh, guess what? The xenomorph heard that, and then the xenomorph's not going to mess with the android. So it's really cool because they don't team up together, but they don't fight each other. So the robots, like xenomorph and robot encounters, are really cool. They don't do too much. I wish they would have did a little bit more. Seeing the robots versus the humans is really neat. They don't do that too often. They do that towards the beginning. But by far the most fun enemy interactions would be when you're fighting humans. This happened at, I think, the end of the first or second stream. I think second stream. But we got in like this area where there was a bunch of humans, and we snuck all the way to the end, and the alien and the xenomorph came. Okay, time to use all of these humans as bait. So you basically just you don't even, I didn't kill a single person in that playthrough. I didn't kill a single human being in that entire playthrough. I made the xenomorph do it. It's just really cool. They'll come after you. They'll shoot once, they can miss, and then you'll hide and be like, it's coming. You can hear it in the vents, it'll drop down, and then you just hear gunfire. You hear gunfire, you see the flash of light, and then you just hear it. You hear it just pounce on them, and it's just on to the next. The light attracts everything, very funny. Genuinely scary and elicit genuine zombie scream. Yes, that is another pro. And a reward strategy. So I did play this on hard, so I had to actually like plan. Like, okay, I need to throw this flare here. I need to throw this over here. I need to go this way. I need to use this. I need to use this human as a lure to the xenomorph. You need to like trigger this human. Like, you have to use it's a lot of weird strategy you have to use to progress in this game. It's really neat. It's really, really, really neat. Just how you can basically take the AI and just spin it around your finger in a way. And sometimes it'll take you and it'll spin you around its finger because it doesn't care. It'll be like, I don't care about your strategy. Screw your strategy. I have my own. And this goes back into the perfect feel of the original movies. The sound design. Just hearing the vents creaking above you, or the beep of your motion sensor, or the screech of a face hugger just lunging at you, or the drip of blood from an open vent. It's just astonishing. It's astonishing how it really ties back into everything. The enemy encounters, hearing the gunshots, the helplessness, just the screeches of the metal. Just very good. I do hope they have a sequel at some point. But it is on to the cons of the game. The game is a little bit too long for my liking. It took me about, what, 30 plus hours? Well, especially on hard, but it really stretched out a lot of those encounters. Like, it got very repetitive as it went on. Like, if the game was like 10 hours shorter, it would have been so much better. Saving is also quite good. They give you a bunch, they give you a bunch of saving. A lot of good things. Drags the last part of the game. Yeah, there's a lot of parts that really just drag on. And I can understand why at some points, like, there's the part where you like trap the xenomorph and you launch out the station, and you're just like, they try to give you that sense of like, oh, we got rid of the alien. The end of the game gotta be near, and then oh, here's a bunch of them. But they never really utilize that too much. They use it like at 1 or 2 rooms where there's 2 xenomorphs in the room, but it does really drag. And the characters in this game are so easily forgettable and just have no depth to them in the slightest. I couldn't tell you the name of a single character in this game. There's Ripley, of course. Well, of course. And then there's Samuels, the robot. That's all I can remember. Literally, that's all. And Ricardo, there you go. They literally don't do anything with these characters. Like, oh, I remember some of their names, like Taylor. They literally do nothing with Taylor. They do nothing with any of these characters. Like, Taylor just randomly dies. The one guy's like wants to blow the ship. He's dead. They give nothing. Like, even the main character is so bland. She does nothing. She says nothing that makes her interesting. She doesn't stand out on the side. She's just like the typical I need to hide from this monster. I can't fight back protagonist. There's nothing unique about her. If they do make another one of these, please, and they make her the main character, give her some actual depth, please. She is as shallow as a puddle. And the AI can be very inconsistent in this game. If you watched me stream this, sometimes the xenomorph just sees you. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes people see you. Sometimes they don't. It's really weird. Sometimes the xenomorph likes the flare. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes the xenomorph likes you. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes the xenomorph kills a person and immediately storms after you, even though you didn't do any. You literally just crouching 10 feet away behind a crate. Just like the alien AI just seems so wonky at times. It's just, I don't understand. It's mainly the xenomorph. It's like, it doesn't have eyes. Can it smell me? Can it hear me? It's like, I'm not moving. It's just so weird, and it got really annoying. It just felt so artificial at some points. Like that, it was like, that's why they made it hard, was just they made it more bullshit at some points. And if anybody can remember, the crafting glitch. So basically, I tried playing this game on mouse and keyboard, and I could not craft at some point. It would not it would only let me craft healing and one other thing. And I had to switch to controller to counter this, and I did not want to. I wanted to play mouse and keyboard. But it might only, I played this on an Epic Store. It might be an Epic Store thing only. It might have, I don't know what happened to my game. I don't know if this is common. Yeah, hard mode again. Just can't craft well. That was a really annoying glitch that persisted through the entire run. And I don't know, maybe it was just me. It's my game. Well, that also goes into the crafting is worthless. This might also just tie to hard mode, but at the same time, like, it shouldn't. Crafting, like 90% of the items in this game was absolutely meaningless. Flashbangs did nothing. Smoke bombs, nothing. Noisemakers, not a thing. Only things that did anything were making health items and Molotovs. That was the only 2 items that were actually good in the entire game. Everything else was absolutely worthless. EMP grenades were probably good, but they were too hard to make. Crafting, it just seems so tacked on in this game. Like, they could have just given me these items. Like, why do I need to craft these? These are worthless. Half of them don't do anything. The noisemaker, I don't think the noisemaker worked a single time in my playthrough. It's supposed to lure them away. Nope. Instead of running towards the noisemaker, or just run right at me, and it always got me killed. Flamethrowers kept killing me? Did they? In this one? Oh yeah, that was that one part where the flamethrower stopped working. Like, you can use the flamethrower to get the alien to leave you alone, but at one point in the game it just stopped caring. I remember that. That was when we went into their nest. And then there are some very repetitive areas. Like, a lot of the station feels identical. There was a lot of points in the game where I'm just like, have I been here? And I hadn't been there yet. It's like, it just all bled together. Like, there's some unique areas, like when you're going to that moon area, which is, of course, it's going to be different. There's the hive. There's like decent amount of unique areas, but majority of it was just bland, boring hallways. Where the only thing that was different were the bodies and the weird little objects littering them. Very, very bland at some points. But that was mainly it for the cons of that and Alien Isolation. So on to number 5. The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. I didn't even stream this game. And it made Game of the Year. Or number 5 for me. So this game, well, do I really need to go into it? You play as Geralt, you're looking for Ciri, you find her, and there's a wild hunt, and it's good. This is the 3rd time I played the game. No, this is the 4th time I played the game. Yeah, we made it to the big boys now. So yes, I've nearly fully completed it. I'm actually just about to finish the game. Probably tonight. Officially, like the final DLC. But here are the pros. The story. It's good. It's really good. And the DLC story. They're really good. Okay, next. There's a wide variety of monsters. There are so many different monsters in this game. It boggles the mind, and they add so many more with the DLCs. Especially the second one. Thought this is about games you played for the first time this year? No, these are the games I enjoyed the most this year. Not the first time. I wouldn't even, if they were my first playthroughs, I don't even know if I'd be able to make I'd probably make a top 5 list. These are the top 5 or top 10 games I've played this year. These are basically games I had to have started this year, or haven't. I couldn't have played them for a while. I haven't played Witcher 3 in years. Like if I played it, like San Andreas, like classic San Andreas, I wouldn't put that on the list because I played that the year before and the year before. Witcher 3 I haven't touched in years, so that's why it's on the list, and it won't end up on this list again for quite a while if I play it again. And yes, there's a wide variety of monsters. There's vampires, ghouls, ghosts, dragons, just so many different ones. There's so many different contracts, but each monster has a unique variation or version, and sometimes they have more. Sorry for the interruption. It's okay, Mara. It's fine. Just kinda knocked out all the steam of the stream, but you know, I'm not angry. Not one bit. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just teasing. It's all good. Yeah, the monsters are so fun. One of the things that really drove me to punish you. Oh my god. I'll punish you. I'll send you an ugly teddy bear. There is one of the things that pushed me. Ban Mara. Ham. Exclamation mark ban. Thank you. Streamer snaps. Streamer snaps and viewer likes it. Nani? But the constant the amount of monsters just kept egging you on. You're just like, what's the next thing you're gonna fight? What's the next monster? And then they it's cool because they don't only keep the monster stuff. They like only for side stuff contracts. They do put monsters into the main story, which is really nice. I feel like that could have been an easy thing, just focus, like leave the monsters on the side. But it is nice. There's a decent amount of variety that unique monsters that they chuck you only in the story. The Ice Giant, the Heim, just so many good ones. The revolution has begun. Oh my god, you banned Ham. And the player's choice affects the game in a lot of weird ways. There's a lot of weird, tiny little things that you can choose, and they affect the game immensely. Like you can choose, do I want a brownie or a cookie? And all of a sudden half the population is dead. Should I take a bath or a shower? And guess what? Yennefer is pregnant. Or stuff like that. It's kind of cool. Yes, and there are choices from the other games. Which I never played the other ones, so you can pick at the beginning of this game. You can kind of pick some of the major stuff. So like that affect some things. I don't know what they fully affect. All I know is that Letho can survive. That's the only one I really cared about. I should play 2 and 1 at some point, but that's for another time. Yeah, it's very nice seeing the world change around you. It's nothing too crazy. They don't change like dramatically, but there are some pretty big ones. Make Geralt sleep with everyone. He can. Well, every main female that yeah, he can. It's a beautiful open world. There's basically, so there are, I'm not gonna count tutorial area. There's basically 3 massive open worlds. There is Velen, Skellige, and Toussaint. Whereas Toussaint is the final DLC. And it's gorgeous. There's swaying trees, there's storms in the distance, there's rippling waves. You can see a lighthouse in the distance, you can go there. It's literally the Skyrim pitch, but you can it's actually good. There's ruins, there's caves, there's so many things to find and discover. There's a lot of times there'll be random monsters like, oh, you wandered too far into this random forest. Oh, guess what? There's a Leshen. And you find out, oh, there's like a little mini quest. Little like snack size mini quest. You get like, well, I mean, yeah, they did ask for it as well. Yes, it's just so satisfying just going through this world because it's so varied. And the expansions, the DLC are just so good. It's like a goddamn triple cheeseburger. It's like it's too much to eat, but you just keep eating. It's so good. And that's a perfect explanation of the DLCs. There's so much content. It adds so many new monsters, the stories. It is it's so refreshing because the whole series storyline can kind of get a little wearing. It's really nice seeing a completely different story, like completely separate from the main game. And they're both so good. Honestly, it's hard for me to pick which one I like more. I will be streaming those at some point. And this game is filled with too many interesting characters, and they all have more depth than the entire Alien Isolation cast combined. Even like the random NPC that walks down the street probably has more depth than the entire Alien Isolation cast. There's Dandelion, Vesemir, Geralt, Triss, Croc. There's just so many characters, it's hard to keep track of. And then they actually do keep track of it for you. So if you want to find out, you can, it's like a little glossary page for all these characters. So you can read up on their lore, what they've done, what you did to them, who you slept with, who you didn't sleep with, who you could have slept with, who you know, all that good stuff. It's just, it's good. It's good. And there's dozens of hour content. I believe I'm at my current playthrough, I'm at about 140 hours in, and I still haven't fully beaten it yet. I've done everything. I've tried, or think I've done everything, probably haven't. Lagging? So weird to see people say it's lagging because such a low effort, like, I shouldn't say low effort, but this isn't like super taxing bitrate wise. It's just some slides. It's not like a game. Shouldn't be lagging. But yes, there's so many hours of content. You can just play this for so long and just you can play this for weeks and weeks and still not be done. I'm still not done. And then on to the cons. The combat isn't very good, which honestly you'd think this would be a major game breaker, which it is for some people. But the combat, it works, but it's so bland. It's like dodge, swing, dodge, put Quen on, swing, get hit, Quen, hit, dodge, Quen, Igni, dodge, swing, sword, heavy swing. You literally just spam light attack. It's really, really shallow. I mean, it's not the main thing that draws me in, but it would be nice for some monster encounters. Like So many of these monsters can be toppled so quickly. You don't... Well, I'll get to this point a little bit later as well. It is very easy to get stuck on stuff in this game. Very easy. You can get stuck on random bushes, or you can slide down a hill, and it can really set you back. Geralt, as an amazing, nimble, monster-slaying badass, if he walks into a fence post, good goddamn luck. You might be there for a couple minutes. Or especially, don't even get me started when you're riding Roach. Oh, it can get really annoying, especially if you're doing like races. You can get caught on like fence posts and just, well, there that goes. A little bit of Witcher 1, the combat has a weird time mechanic. Oh, is it the same here? It's not. It's more like Dark Souls, sort of, but doesn't have the difficulty really. It's basically just dodge, swing, use some spells every once in a while, and maybe a bomb or two, but it's basically just keep swinging till they die. And like you use silver or steel depending on what they are, and usually the game picks for you. I put on the setting where I have to manually pick which sword I want to use, and even then it's not that difficult. Yes, it's so easy to get stuck on stuff in this game. Just controlling Geralt can be a pain in the ass, especially when you're trying to examine stuff. You can just like, oh, you walked too far over it. Now you turn around. Oh, you walked past it again. No, you walked over it again. Try to examine stuff can be really bad. Combat is in this one is so bad, and also because you change between stances and stuff. In one. I don't even know what that's like. I'll have to try at some point to see what the hubbub is. I don't even know how it is in 2. And another thing is, if this is a mainly problem if you play the game, this is also affects replayability for me. The beginning of the game is really slow, like really slow, and at least if you replayed it or replaying it, like it's just a lot of. They talk about a lot of stuff that happened in the previous games, and for most people, they don't know anything about that. Most people don't know the books. They don't know the lore of the world. And like the whole part where you meet the Emperor just turns people off like crazy. I tried showing this to my buddy Kev, and we got to that part, and he just like, yeah, no. Because it's so boring. You sit there and get your beard shaved for like 10 minutes. It's like, and it doesn't pick up until a little bit, like a couple, like 6, 7, 8 hours into the game, I'd say, in my opinion. Even a little bit, maybe longer. The only combat is shallow, especially not in the higher difficulties. There's nothing special about it, in my opinion, though. It's usually just spam Quen. Usually. I play on like normal, and I've just... It just never stood out. It's like I said, it's serviceable. It's serviceable. It's not gonna. You're not gonna be like, oh my god, this is horrible. It's just gonna be like, okay, just another fighting part. The world, as amazing as the world is, it is filled with so many boring side locations. I did this so you don't have to. I was determined to 100% the game, or at least find everything, and I went to every single question mark on the entire map, and there's like 170, if not more, on each map. Skellige, Toussaint, all that. But you get the potions and mutagens and everything. You really think combat is amazing, especially coming from freaking Skyrim? Compared to Skyrim, yes. But it's an opinion thing. You can scratch this off your cons list. But I've done every single one of them, and they're all so boring. I don't want to say that the world is empty, but it's filled with crap. Filled with crap. Especially Skellige. Like, most people, this isn't a problem, but for me, who went and like looked and found every single one of these, they're just a bunch of random like chests you just go for, and it's so annoying. It's so annoying at navigating Skellige. Finding all of those, going to random islands, literally going like, there's like 15 spots in the ocean that you just swim to. I remember I'd watch a YouTube video and just like this, point the controller in the way and hold A and just wait till and I look up every once in a while to see if I got there. and then dive, loot the item. Oh, it's more crap that I'll never use. Sweet. And then that's just a minor thing. That's probably only applicable to me, but that's why it's my Game of the Year list. Oh, who put that there? Who put that there? Wait, who put that there? This is gotta be the most controversial part. Gwent. Gwent sucks. Gwent is terrible. You can at me at my Twitter if you'd like, but Gwent, I hate Gwent. And this playthrough, I actually did the full Gwent storyline. I did both of the Gwent storylines, both in the DLC and in the main game. I win every single time. I mean, I have it set to easy, I guess, but it's so boring, in my opinion. It's really boring, and you're not forced to do it, but it's really annoying when you get to a certain part in the game, and I hate it because there's a whole tab for failed quests, and I don't want a single failed quest. Is the Caravan a Witcher? Yeah, and I hated Caravan too. Which, if I do another follow playthrough, I might, or a New Vegas playthrough, I might give that a try. Maybe learn it. Maybe I'll like it. Who knows? Gwent, not really. I got all the... As soon as you get the legendary cards, like Yennefer, Triss, there's all these other ones. I didn't even get them, like, all of them. I didn't get Geralt or Ciri. It's so easy. You literally can't lose. They do an interesting thing in the DLC, though. So there's different, like, factions with the Gwent decks. There's Northern Realms, there's Nilfgaard, there's monsters, there's the Scoia'tael. In the DLC, they add another deck, the Skellige deck. And basically, the entire storyline is you have to use the Skellige deck. And it's kind of cool. To be honest, Gwent isn't even that big of a con anymore. But I just don't... I wouldn't want to play it again. I just don't like it when... There's certain parts of this in the quest where it's like... We'll kill this guy unless you beat us in Gwent. It's like, of course I want to save the guy, but I don't want to play you in cards. Or it's like, you can either pay me a crap ton of money or you can beat me at cards. It's like, here's the money. Like, give me what I want. I don't want to play your stupid card game. But a lot of people love it, so... A lot of people. They made its own standalone game, so I'm definitely in the minority here. A lot of these cons are really minor. Ah, yes. Goes on what Pancake was saying earlier. Most of the oils and the potions are worthless in this game. I mean, if you're playing on a higher difficulty, maybe not. If you do a mission really, really early before you're supposed to. But you make all these oils to fight monsters. You make all these potions to get different effects to fight monsters. 90% of them are absolutely worthless. Most of the fights in this game, monster fights, contract fights, you don't need to use a single potion or oil. Unless it's Swallow. Swallow or Black Blood or something. They're just not good. You literally, the monsters already die fast enough. And I'm doing this like 2-3 level, maybe 4 levels under the levels they want you to do it. And I'm still like shredding these monsters like nothing. I don't know if it's because I have like, this amazing gear, because you can find amazing Witcher gear, but I wasn't the biggest fan of that. And there is very little replayability in this game, at least for me. It's a 100 plus hour game. I'll play it once and then I don't really... It's mostly because of that really slow start. As soon as I do another playthrough of it, the first 10 hours are just too slow because I've just done them so many times. It's like Skyrim. It's the exact same thing with Skyrim. You tell me move on from Witcher? Listen, we're not going spoiler. We're not doing spoilers though. Yes, I think I am done with Witcher anyway. And welcome whiskey. So number 4, Yakuza Zero. Yakuza Zero. It's here. Of course it's here. Why? How could Yakuza Zero not be on the list? I don't even know what you do on the story. You basically you play as Majima and Kiryu, and you do awesome, amazing stuff. Awesome, amazing stuff. Can you actually speedrun Witcher? Probably, but I don't see it being that enjoyable to speedrun. It's just, you can like skip dialogue really easily, but it's just I wouldn't enjoy speedrunning that. But yes, welcome Whiskey. So there are two amazing gripping stories in this game. There's Majima's and Kiryu's. And they take you through so many twists and turns. You really, the story, when I first bought this game and I first was playing it, I did not expect the story to just kind of just come up and slap me outside the head and be like, hey, look at this story, look at all this story. Con, too many deaths. That's why it's gripping. Witcher can be, it's probably with glitches though, with Witcher. There are so many random hilarious sub stories in this game. It's it takes the super depressing story and just completely sidelines it and just like, here, funny, la ha ha, Biza, Boy-kun, Bridge. There's so many memorable ones that I can literally quote every single one probably. There's the date where the dad wants to date us, or there's the little girl who wants the bird, or the little red squirrel from the thing. There's Aaron-kun. There's so many good ones. There's the RQ3 kid. You know the cons? You know the cons already? Bro, Kiryu doesn't kill. Majima doesn't kill until Kiwami. He already is back. He's already like killing people. Like as soon as Kiwami starts. Yes, the sub stories are just as good as the main story. Like, you can't have a Yakuza game without. I can't wait to see Kiwami's. I can't wait. I can't even remember any of them. I remember like one, I think. And it's jam-packed with so many mini games. You got bowling, you got darts, you got weird cat fights, you got regular fights, you got dancing, karaoke, throw frisky grandmas. Sure, that too. There's so many different mini games you can do. You can do phone girl things. You can go fishing. Just so many mini games that I'm curious to see what else other mini games they have throughout the series. They really do. You forgot about the Biza? Yeah, the Biza part. There's the world is so small and dense. Like everybody's trying to make bigger open worlds, vast open, like Red Dead, GTA, Witcher, and the thing that I don't like, no game ever does is why not just make it, smaller. Like you stretch it, so it's like taking a thing of Play-Doh or like goo and just like stretching it. It gets so thin and like there's little holes in it and it's just really not great. Why not condense it and make it really good? Like, and that's what they do in this game. There's two cities that they're not too big, but they are jam-packed. You don't have to, you run everywhere. There's not that much fast travel. Like fast travel isn't that great, but you don't need it because you can just run across it like in a minute. Pro zombie gets to cosplay Majima. There you go. That might not be on this list though. I might have edit that in later. Small child call that one guy a virgin. Oh yeah. We gotta buy some porn for a child. There's virgin. Oh yeah, poor Fighter. The good thing is Fighter does return to Kiwami, so we get to look forward to seeing him again. He disappeared. He went to Kiwami. That's where he went. There's so many fun, wacky characters. There's so many serious characters too. But there's like the underwear guy. Like basically what I said with the sub stories. There's so many fun, wacky characters is thrown in. There's that one guy who, like, you kick him out a window and he like comes back a couple times. He's like, didn't I kill you? Like I kicked you out of an 8-story building and you're still coming at me. There's so many like minor wacky characters that literally just come out of nowhere. And like, it's so weird when you see him again sometimes. Like when they come work for you, there's like the panty girl. She's like, I'll be your manager. Like, oh, cool. Welcome back. Or there's the Obitarian, the old lady with the leopard shirt. She came back and she became my cabaret girl. Yeah. Yeah. So I end on that one. There are so many amazing, sudden, random tone shifts. It will be it'll be like such a funny moment, and then it'll like the music will just like suddenly shift. It'll be like, oh, it's the sad music gonna play? Oh, here it is. And then all of a sudden, right back to it's like will you please date my daughter? And then she's like, please, she really needs this. I don't have much. If you won't date her, I'll date her. It's like, it's so many random shifts, and they're handled so amazingly well. Oh. In both ways. Funny to sad to funny. And then the immersive atmosphere. They really nail 80s Japan. I imagine. I don't know too much about 80s Japan, but I have a feeling it probably looks like this. They make it feel so realistic. Like you're just there. People walking around flooded streets. There are no cars driving around because it's so compact. And I mean, if I had a time machine, I went back. I imagine this would exactly what it'd be like. Everybody's smoking. They're handing out little tissues. So many minor details. Handing out tissues. There's like the random cop that checks you. Okay, on to the cons. So here's the first one. Which, thank God, it didn't happen as much later on in the playthrough. But this game, for some reason, at least when I stream it, it crashes a lot. Like, it was like 1 to 2 each stream, like early on. It was really bad, and there are no auto saves. So you haven't saved all stream, guess what, you're doing everything over again. Have fun. There's a lot of progress we lost. The combat, it's very repetitive. Really repetitive. I mean, it's probably gonna still be like that with the new Yakuza games we've been playing, but the same combos. Majima does dance moves, spins around. Like we unlock some more combo, like extend the combo, but it's just like too late. Rush style, just punch him a couple times and then punch him the exact same way a couple more times. I'll do it again. Like literally the fight yesterday with Shimano summarizes. You just see the same combo over and over again. It's really boring. And then the heat moves, there's not enough, which actually, shit, that wasn't the one. That's actually one of the other things that I'll get into. But there's a lot of the enemies on normal. This is literally, we saw this yesterday with Shimano, the Shimano boss fight in Kiwami, and it was way worse than anything we saw in Yakuza 0. So it's gotten worse. Boss fights last way too long later on. They have like 4 health bars, and in the end, like, you might as well just playing easy, because playing on normal only means that you're gonna be doing the exact same fight longer, and you're gonna constantly open the menu, heal, which is really annoying. If you could have hotkeyed a heal, maybe it would have been not as annoying, but you literally just constantly open the menu. It just really takes the momentum out of the fight. And it's just, putting on an easy was definitely the right strategy, and I probably will in Kiwami in not too long. I mean, there's literally nobody can say anything now that Shimano fight happened. That 15-20 minute fight where he had like 2 attacks the entire time. It's just no thank you. I don't know what the hell the idea with some of these were. But yes, this is what I was going to do earlier. There are not enough easy heat moves, which ties back into the repetitive combat. So if an enemy is lying on the ground, you can do a heat move and stomps in their face. Okay, is there anything else that is easy to do? Well, if they're lying on their stomach, you can pull their head back and punch them or kick them. Oh, is that it? Basically. There's like no really easy heat moves. Most of the heat moves are so specific. Like, you need a certain weapon, you need to be drunk, you need to have a certain amount of health, you need to be near a car or a railing. There's so many weird heat moves that are tied to certain things that you'll never see a majority of them. And there's not enough easy ones to do that. You're just constantly spamming the same one. Grab the heat move. Like, it just does the same punch. It's just, I hope they fix that. I don't know. I feel like they won't. Kiryu's story takes a long time. It's like the same problem with Witcher 3. Kiryu's story is a really slow start, slow burn. It doesn't get interesting until about his third outing of chapters. Like Majima's gets interesting immediately, and then Kiryu's, it's like, okay, I didn't murder him, and then chapter 6 and 7 or whatever order, like, I'm gonna join this real estate organization, and then you just do like random real estate stuff, like you get business cards and you talk to businessmen, and just not really fun. It's not until like his third outing of chapters that it actually is like, okay, it's begun. The game has finally started. The good thing is that the sub stories kind of fill in for that boring, tedious BS. But it's rough. So the business and the cabaret side stories are really, really grindy. I didn't even show them all fully. So the business stuff is basically when Kiryu goes into that office, and you sign managers, security to a certain area, and you wait for the bar to fill up, and then you cash out. I barely even scratched the surface of it, and you unlock some really cool stuff if you complete it. Some really stupid OP stuff, but it's so grindy. Same with the cabaret club, where you have to like assign girls to a certain spot. I don't know. I'm sure somebody was happy with it, but not me. So if you complete those though, you get the Dragon of Dojima style and the Mad Dog of Shimano style. So you unlock 2 new styles if you complete those, and they completely break the game. So you basically get the style from Kiwami for Kiryu and Majima. You get like the style where Majima gets his sword, his knife, and he can shred bosses in milliseconds, and Kiryu gets Dragon Dojima, where he is like the red hue, which is it's kind of cool. Really breaks the game because you're gonna have so much money and level up so much that it's, I don't know. You might as well play in Legend then. And then there are very grindy move tutors. I barely leveled up any of my skills any of my styles just because. Go to Kameki, fight Kameki. Go to Bacchus, fight Bacchus, or protect Bacchus. They're so boring, and they go on. There's like no point to any of them. They have their own little stories. He hates it. Every amazing game has got its criticisms, and only somebody who loves that game can really criticize. Or wants to love it. I do love this game. Some of these cons are pretty minor though, of course, with all these pros. But on to number 3. We're getting down to the nitty gritty. I don't even know if I played this game this year. I'm pretty sure I did. Subnautica. I'm pretty sure that this game fell within the time frame of this year. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure we started it in like January. But Subnautica, a throwback, if you will, to the original horror game for me. Oh yeah, so basically this game, you get stranded on an alien planet, and ocean planet, and you survive. There's a disease, cure the disease, leave the planet, yada yada yada. Good stuff. Did it? I'm pretty sure it did, because I uploaded that highlight video in January. And I'm pretty sure I uploaded that the same day I streamed it, because I was really satisfied. I was really happy with that stream because there's a lot of highlight moments, and excuse me, so much talking. At least most of it happened in this year. Yeah, I did play the sequel this year. Did I not play Subnautica this year? let me check this real quick. Pretty sure I did. I uploaded that video the day I started the playthrough, I'm pretty sure. This is also why I'm like keeping track of dates now when I started, so now I can keep track of what games I played which year. I uploaded that January 18th, so I did start that in somewhere in January. I had to have. Let's assume that we did. Okay, the first pro. The amazing atmosphere. You really feel like the ocean. Ocean, so much good. Big oceanness. Oh well. I'm pretty sure I did. I did stream this, at least for most of the game. It was this year. I know it was. I'm pretty sure I did. I had to have. Either way, really good atmosphere. Like, there's so many, like, the darkness of the depths, the hues of these weird alien plants underwater. These weird sounds from the deep. Welcome, Okies. Gambling already and losing already. God damn it. Oh, yeah, it goes in. The immersive sound. You'll hear some weird stuff in the deeps. There's some really weird echoes and moans and screeches. It's horrifying. And the sound of the waves and the sound of your tools and your equipment and your swimming. If you count Subnautica this year, then you would have guessed it would be your number one. Which means, what could be my number one then? If this is number 3, what could be better than this? Thank you, Okies. There's a lot of amazing and creative and horrifying creatures. There's the boomerang fish, there's the reapers, there's the ghost leviathans, the weird things going the giant reefbacks. Number 1 is GTA Definitive Edition. Ham, have you hacked my computer? Not very nice. A lot of creative, yes. There's so many amazing, fun creatures in this game. It's so fun to go up and scan each one just to see what they were, and be horrified of them. Like I said, even the stalkers. Like, I'm not scared of them now, but the stalkers were actually terrifying. And it gets scarier the deeper you go. Like, just how, like, the game starts out really chill, really cool. Like, there's not much threat. Teddy Floppier? Okay, stop. You're spoiling. No spoilers. Stop. Like, it eventually gets to a point where, like, you're only going into the darkness. Like, it's so chill up at the surface, and then you unlock the tank, and you're like, what's in that blackness down yonder? Horrible monster or good loot? And usually it's both. And the lore was really interesting. Like, you'd scan different stuff and you'd read it. I didn't read it because I was streaming it. I probably would have if I wasn't, at least some of it. It's just really cool scanning everything. You're like, what is this? Like, different plants, different creatures. You'd find different craftable items. It's like, how does this fit into the world? It's really neat. A lot of effort put into that. And it encourages exploration. There's a lot of like stuff to scan and unlock. And some stuff is scattered only in certain areas. You gotta go there. And it, like, actually pushes you to go there. It pushes you, like, okay, and, like, they scatter off these. Yeah, you realize something like, oh, this game was good. They put all these, an amazing job with the exploration encouragement just by placing all these abandoned life pods, because it's like, go here to somewhere you've never gone before and explore. And that's how you find a lot of important key areas. Like, there's the Lost River. Oh, there's the giant ship. Why don't you go check that out? But not too soon, or else death. And everything. Like, I can't. Like, there's the weird crab squid. No, not crab squid. Crab eel things that you wouldn't really find any other way if they didn't show you. It scans them, and it doesn't show them all at once. It, like, slowly progresses. Like, there's been a life pod found over here, and each of them has a little bit of lore. Usually something really cool to scan, something horrible usually guarding it. Pros, you get 55k views because of Subnautica. That is definitely a pro. Makes you a viral YouTube video, wink wink. Semi-viral. I'm so surprised though that I could. Subnautica is a really good series though. For that kind of stuff. There's a large variety of biomes. There's the mushroom biomes, there's the Lost River, the lava. There's so many different biomes. There's like the brown biome, which I barely touch because there's reapers there and screw that area. The blood kelp, I think, area. There's just a lot of variety. And the sequel tried to capitalize on this. I'm not going to talk too much about the sequel. That's like its own little beast. It definitely did a lot better with biomes in this one, I think. But on to the cons. Let's just skip them. Bro, Screamer Stream. The material grind was really, really bad. Like, oh my god. Getting titanium was horrendous. Just getting... I mean, titanium was the worst, but getting, like, nickel and just all these random materials could get really stupid. Like, really, really, really stupid. Like, when you were building the rocket, it's like, well... time to go as far as I can to look for some titanium. Like, if you can get to the bottom of the map, like the bottom of the Lost River, there's some deposits if you have the prawn suit, and you can get them there. But if you there's a lot of deposits you have to travel really far to get. It completely just killed the pacing for me. I definitely install a mod within a heartbeat that would like half the resources needed to craft half the stuff. The Cyclops controlled horribly in caves, which is really important at the end. So if anybody remembers, we actually lost one. We lost our Cyclops in the, which is it was a fun moment. Not fun, like, in the moment, of course, but... The Cyclops is you pilot in first person. It's this gargantuan submarine. And you're navigating it through this itty-bitty tiny little cave. It's not, I shouldn't say it's tiny, but there's a lot of little roots and trees that are sticking out that you can bump into and hit. And it's really annoying because you can't really tell what's going on at all, and it's not great. It's also the reason why they didn't bring it into the sequel, because most people didn't like it. This game where you get most followers, or GTA Chaos? Probably Chaos. But most of those followers didn't ever watch again. I think Subnautica was the most where we got people chatting the most. The game that got me the most followers... That'd be Fallout New Vegas. Because remember that time where I got that bot? When we were by the boomers, I got that one bot who gave me 100 followers. I remember that. I had to turn off notifications for a while because of that. They just kept going off every 2 seconds. This person's followed. This person followed. 100 of them. Horrible. Oh, fake. And the prawn suit. So does anybody remember in the final area of the game, there's like the massive alien facility that you get to. And I took my prawn suit in there because why not? I mean, you need it for some stuff. And it would glitch into the ground constantly. Like, I'd have to reload the game constantly. Yeah, fake follows are the best. I don't care too much about follows anymore. I only cared about follows when it came to getting affiliate, and then because most people follow you, they don't actually ever watch. But that's fine. But yes, stupid glitching prawn suit stuck in the frickin' ground. Not fun. Had to reload the game constantly at the end. Like every 5 minutes, I'd have to reload the game. This game can be so brutally punishing. This also ties in the material grind. So when I lost my Cyclops, we had to dedicate almost an entire stream to rebuilding that Cyclops. It was horrible. Like, it sets you... There's so many things you have to craft in order to build another Cyclops. It was It was so annoying to have to regain all of those. Find all of those again. I think I lost a prawn suit and I was just like, okay, screw it. I'm just reloading the game. What date I got? Remember what date I got affiliate? Ah, what? Can I see that? Let me see real quick. Shows it somewhere, I know. Give me a second. But yeah, it's really annoying. If you lose a big ship, it's just you don't even want to do anything. Should tell me. Cat to affiliate completed last year. Does it give me a date? It doesn't. It just says last year. It's been a year. Whatever. I wish I did know. If I ever get partner, I'll make a note of that. Yes, this game is brutal. Really annoying. It's easy to get really lost, and there's no map at all. Like, there's a mod that has a map, but it's not built into the game. And I remember just trying to find stuff. I remember chat trying to guide me for like 3 hours, and we couldn't find the stupid thing because it's so freaking easy to get lost. Trying to find the mushroom biome and going back and forth and back and forth, zigzagging everywhere. Nope, it's not. Is it here? It's nope. Oh, and it's not. Is it here? Nope. Oh, wait, nope. Good luck trying to find lithium. That's right. Trying to get the lithium grind was horrendous. That's it for the cons. For that. On to number 2. Dusk. I imagine nobody saw this one coming. I did stream this. Dusk. This is well, basically this is like an old school FPS shooter like Doom or Quake. You just shoot through legions of evil entities. That's it, basically. The fast-paced gameplay is so fun. So fun. I think Oki's joined when with GTA 4. That's what game he joined in. A lot of GTA followers. You can do so many fun things in this game. Swapping guns is super fast. You're just like lining up shots with your rifle from across the map. Boom. Flipping your gun, doing flips. It's just crazy. It's just like the action of Doom and Quake on steroids, like horse steroids, like 50 horse steroids. Insane. So fun. Just moving around, flipping your gun, whipping out your sickles, cutting through stuff, using a sword. It just all flows so quickly. And it masters that classic FPS, the FPS graphics. I mean, like, I don't know how you can go in more. It's a more beautiful Doom and a Quake. Like, so much detail that back in the day Quake and Doom couldn't do, and like other games like that. So many lush, vibrant areas. The enemy variety, there's so many good enemies in this game. There's the Wendigos, which are invisible until you shoot them. There's the chainsaw cultists. There's the cowgirls, who are like this horrible abomination. Damn, what else? Who else is there? It's like rats. There's so many different enemies. There's the what are they called? They look like ogres, but they shoot like grenade launchers and stuff. Just found your Twitch summary thingy. I really looked for it, damn. Oh yeah, I had to look for it. Is that where I found my affiliate thing? Same. Well, that kind of leads into there's no bullshit enemies in this game. The closest one is the cowgirls, but there's so few of them that it doesn't even count. Unlike playing Quake and having to deal with constant Vores, super annoying. Like, if they were like every once in a while, fine. But there's so many times where you get Vores. Just they're these super tanky enemies that would shoot homing projectiles at you, and you'd have to constantly talk back and forth behind a wall, and it just wasn't great. And there was nothing like that. They didn't do anything like that. The closest cowgirl, but like I said, there was like 5 in the game, I think. And they space them out so much that you don't have to really deal with them. Especially, they give you range. You can actually use range in this game. Like in Quake, everything is close quarters. In this game, there's a lot of wide open areas. You get long range weapons. You can actually zoom. It's swapping through weapons, just blazing through enemies. Nothing feels better. There are a lot of creative fair bosses in this game. You fight a mutant alligator. You fight a actual like human player. Like they played just like a human. There is the original cowgirl, which is like the introduction of them. There's a giant rat boss that's hidden. That's like a secret boss. There's Arnold Schwarzenegger lookalike. There's a giant fish. So many different fun bosses. Nothing that is really copy paste. Maybe the cowgirl, but that's not even. Just fun discovering them. There are no bad levels. There's been so many times where you like read the name of a level and you're like, oh, this is gonna suck. This level is called Fire and Ice. This level is gonna be so shit. They're introducing lava, and then you finish the level and it's like, oh my god, that was phenomenal. That was amazing. There is not a single level in this game that was like, this is horrible. Every single level just up the ante every single time. Keep selling it. I'm pitching it. There's there's 3 chapters and they each have like different settings. So there's the first chapter, which is set around like rural like countryside, like yeah, rural, of course, countryside, rural like communities. There's like open fields. There's like a farmhouse. There's a giant wall. You eventually go into the town of Dusk. There's like a city. It's been a while since I played this, so I'm trying to remember. There, you go down underground and some meat grinders. And then you get the second chapter, and it's more industrial and more cities. You go into a laboratory, and then the entire laboratory like flips on itself. Like walls start flipping. You're like going up. You're like going up the ceiling. It's just so weird, so strange. And then there's a part where you shoot up a giant chute, and you go up into a giant church in the sky, and then you go way back down, and you go into this catacomb filled with these unknown horrors. And then you go to, there's like a laboratory where you fight some demon horses that are experimenting on. And then the final chapter is like going through layers of hell. So you go back to your home, which you've hit certain things and it flips the gravity of the map. So you'll like fly up and fly down, fly side to side. It's just so creative. There's so many creative, like there's a boss rush level where you just fight wave after wave of enemy. Oh, I could just go on. And then there's the options are really cool in this game. Like the actual like the settings options. You can change so many factors of the game. You can change reticle size, gun size. You can change scream. Yeah, I do love it. We are nearing the gush phase. We are number 2 after all. You can change the hue of the game if you want black and white. You want it like sepia. Do you want it to be like mostly red? You can like, there's like 16 different like color settings you can have. You can change how retro the game looks, how pixelated it is. You can change if you want to flip or not, if the flipping makes you motion sick. So many accessibility options, and just you can change so many things you can change. And then the final boss reveal was so good. I love the reveal of the final boss. It really comes out of nowhere, and the voice of the final boss, like you hear the the preliminary final boss has like speaks to you through the entire game. And you're like, okay. The voice is a little bit demonic, and then you get to the final boss, and he's like, "Oh, you thought," and it sounds so awesome in the reveal. It's like, oh God, this is way bigger than we thought it was gonna be. And probably one of my favorite points of the game. And then another thing that's really nice after playing Doom and Quake is the beginning weapons are balanced with dual wielding. So in Quake and Doom, watch your profanity. Oh my God, that is so loud. What the hell happened to my? I don't know. Whatever. I'll fix that later. Welcome back, Cozell. You're nearing the end. No, it's all good. I suspected your Wi-Fi had a fun time today. So in Doom and in Quake, your beginning weapon. God, I'm getting so nasally. I'm sorry. No, it's because I'm talking so much. You have the beginning shotgun usually, which is immediately obsolete as hell. You'll never use that gun, but you always have it. So it will sometimes swap to it and it does no damage, or you get the pistol or some other crappy weapon. In Dusk, to counter this, the shitty pistol and the shitty basic shotgun become dual wield. So they are amazing now. Instead of having one shitty pistol, you have two shitty pistols which turn into pretty good pistols. And they can actually be used through the entire game. They balance out those weapons amazingly. So that is just a nice feature. All right, it's okay. It's okay. Don't worry. Don't hurry. Don't worry, Cozell. And here now onto the cons, which now there's gonna be a lot less cons for these games. So there are a couple minor glitches, but I think these have been patched out since I played. So these might not even be cons anymore. So there are completion marks on levels where there's 3 different challenges. Or 4 different challenges for every level. Not getting hit. Don't get hit. Like untouchable. Basic weapons where you only use like melee and the crossbow. The pacifist where you don't kill anything. And then the completionist where you get all the secrets and kill all the enemies and all that stuff. And some levels were glitched where even if you killed everything or did all this stuff, it wouldn't count. And I think they did patch that though. Jello's a greeting. Yeah, because I was rapping. He's a rap goat. So yeah, that's not even really much of a con anymore. The grenade launcher is the only horrible weapon. They give you a I think it's called the ratchet launcher, or ratchet gun or something, and it immediately surpasses the grenade launcher. The grenade launcher is absolutely trash. Excuse me. Quake's, I mean, it's not as bad as Quake's. Quake's was actually pretty good because of the range, but it's just so, everything is just so much better than the grenade launcher in the game. It's definitely, if they were to remove one gun or rework a gun, then do something with that. And that's it. That's it for the cons. That's literally it for the cons. Just 2. That's all I can think of for that. And that game is also very replayable, by the way. I'd suggest that easily. If you like old style Quake or old style Doom, Dusk is definitely one for you. Also on my radar is H-Rot, which is in early access, which I'm hoping get some more work, and then I'll gladly jump into that. But here's number 1. Drum roll, please. Ooh, this really hurts. Grand Theft Auto: The Trilogy. Little chicken. Did you actually think that was the number 1? Did I actually bamboozle you? That drum roll was a lie. This fucking GTA Trilogy really wishes it could be number 1. Number 1 at being shit, I'll tell you that. No. Here's the real number 1. Any guesses in the chat? Any guesses? Streamer has no taste. Going on his own list, of course. You gotta have some fun with it. Fortnite? Roselle says Fortnite. What does everybody think is gonna be my game of the year? That's Ogie's game of the year, definitely. Force Unleashed? Ooh. I forgot to put that on the list. Oops. That probably would have been my number 3. What prize do you get? You get the prize of being right. Joselle says Resident Evil 8. Oki says Roblox. You get the reward of a job well done, and you'll like it like that. No. Here it is. Halo Infinite. Let's see. Dragon Ball Fighter Z. That's pancakes. not mine. It's good, but not mine. Number 1. Resident Evil Village. I think Kozel got it right. Resident Evil Village is my game of the year. And to be honest, this and Dusk are nearly tied. Like, nearly tied. These ones were really hard for me to like, determine which one I like the most. Resident Evil Village. Which I'm not even going to explain because it's just Resident Evil. It's Resident Evil Village. So the pros. The area variety is great. You get the village. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Applaud Resident Evil Village for being amazing. My game of the year. I don't even remember when this came out, but it came out like the beginning of the year, so it's very surprising for a game that comes out the beginning to win, but yeah. You get the village, you get the castle, you get the factory, you get the fish area, you get the haunted mansion. There's so many different areas in this game, and they all scratch a different horror itch. You get like the fun classic survival action in the fish area. The horror part is in you get the horror from that one mansion with the dolls. You get the classic, like, original Resident Evil feel from the castle. It really scratches every itch. Jesus fucking Christ. Fuck off. Jesus Christ. My God, that actually, thank God. Thank God the webcam was not actually jumped. Oh, God damn it, was that had been Kozel? I didn't actually mean fuck you, but like I meant the sound. Oh my God. Oh, thank you. 1 year, 4 months, almost 5 months. Thank you. Yes. The boss fights. Oh wait, who did that? Was that not Kozel? Who was that? Hey Wagner. Welcome. But the boss fights. The boss fights are so much like Resident Evil 7 has good boss fights. But Resident Evil 8 just completely topples those. It's just like, and that's like having the amazing fights. They have so many good set pieces. They're so unique. Mrs. D is, it was you. Okay. You got me good. Give Discord knew that sound? Yes, that is one of those hidden ones. Mrs. D is a really fun rooftop fight. None of them are really that bullshit. The hide and seek one is really fun with the dolls. The fish fight is that one's good. I mean, as long as you play this on normal. Like, I'm not even talking about when you play them on hard, because they are meant to be hard, but some of them are kind of bullshit then. The horse guy, Heisenberg was really fun. The Miranda was an interesting final fight. Poor Cozell got blamed. I honestly thought, because he does the run all the time. The story is also really interesting. Like, I was very invested in the story and the plot the entire time. Like, there's the whole Rose is turned into a jar, like 4 jars. Like, what? Like, Ethan's constantly taking damage. The interesting different bosses. And then, of course, the reveal that Ethan is actually just a pile of mold is really good. That was good, Wagner. I think everybody's doing good, and everybody's holiday is pretty good. Except for Cozell, who got blamed for a scream. We're just doing my game of the year. Yes, the story, very fun. I really enjoyed it. It was really good Resident Evil story. Like, probably the most invested I've been in one. Like, I'm always invested in them, but this one especially. With a lot of fun twists, like I said, the Ethan one was an amazing twist. I'm glad they brought Evelyn back. There's a lot of what the fuck moments. Like, I can't even believe how many there were. Exploration, there's tons of secrets. There's so many little tiny little parts of the village, and you can go on boats. There's so many tiny things you can find. I haven't even found all the secrets or the notes. There's so many, there's optional bosses, like an entire like wood mill area with an optional boss you can go into if you want. Really neat. Really neat fun stuff to find. And the Duke. And it's also very replayable. This game is so replayable. You can do speed runs, you can do challenge runs. We've done difficulty runs. Like, I've done so many speed runs. I only doing casual ones too. I could relearn them. You can do knife only. You can have infinite ammo, so that gives you an option to do certain weapons infinite ammo. Like, you can do anything infinite ammo, or only, especially for infinite ammo. Like I said, infinite ammo. And it literally just takes the best. This game is basically RE4. It takes everything amazing about RE4 and just shoves it in this game. It has the village, which everybody loved, and it uses the village a lot. The castle, they do that even better. They do the initial village fight, which is very intense. They don't have a chainsaw enemy, but still. They got the fish boss. They sort of have dogs. They got like these big weird dogs. Literally just takes everything I love and just builds off of it. Blindfold stream coming soon. Blindfold knife only speedrun. Shadows, Village of Shadows run, which is the hardest difficulty. Yes, that'll be starting Monday. But here on to the cons. I do want to do a knife only run again though on that game though. I don't think I've officially streamed a full knife only fight or run on there. I think I failed it. I'd love doing that again. It's pretty easy. So here are the cons. There's no merchant on New Game Plus Restart. This is a thing that I wish they would have had from Resident Evil 4. So people might be confused what this is. So whenever you relaunch Resident Evil 4, you can just continue off of that save, so you'll have all of the stuff you carried over from that previous save, like Classic New Game Plus. You get all the health, everything. In this game, you keep all your stuff, but you can't visit the merchant at the beginning, because in Resident Evil 4, you launched the game, it would say, "What you buying?" And you could sell all the stuff you want. You could rebuy all the stuff you want. Can't in this. So you literally have. You don't get to the Duke for a while, so you literally get stuck with all that stuff, all that crap you're carrying, in the very beginning of the game. It isn't very long, but it's kind of annoying, especially with this next point I'm about to make. Okay, maybe not this point. There's a point coming up. I swear that the factory level is confusing and really boring. It's a really bad level to end the game on. Honestly, it's just not good. It's like the mines of Resident Evil 1, or the sewers of Resident Evil 2, or the island of Resident Evil 4. They've always got to have that one really bad level. And the factory's that really bad level. I mean, it's serviceable, but there's nothing memorable. It'd be the hardest part of the game for me to speedrun because it's so forgettable. Everything blends together. It's just a dark corridor of random hallways and drill enemies. The enemies aren't that interesting. Like they just there's like Frankensteinian. I look, I got a drill for an arm. Let me like, oh cool. I'm covered in metal. Nice. That's very interesting. It's like one of the kids of the developers was told to design, or they were like, okay, we're gonna let my kid design this level, and they just like start slapping metal on all these enemies. Like, how about we have this werewolf theme? Why don't we build off something else? I like metal. It's like, okay, well, I don't want to get fired, so metal it is. So this is what I was gonna talk to earlier. Weapons permanently level up, which is a bummer for me because in Resident Evil 4, this ties really closely to the new game, to the first one. When I with Resident Evil 4, I would often like to sell all my guns and restart a fresh run with new weapons that they like lose all their levels, or they lose all their levels. You sell all the ammo and all that. In this, if you sell your guns and you buy them back, they will still be amazing. So if you do a normal run, you'll never be able to do a normal run again with crappy weapons. So if you start the game over and buy that gun again, you're probably gonna one-shot everything in the game through the entire thing, because you got an amazing maxed out weapon like that you can never unupgrade. It's just really annoying because I want to do a kind of a random one of my shuffle runs where I just like every time I visit Duke I have to swap weapons, but I can't do that because they're all just gonna be OP anyway. Really annoying. And then this is kind of a personal gripe. The third person cutscenes at the end. Why? The entire game, they're first person through Ethan. I can understand, like, it's so that they don't show Ethan's face. But why? Why can't Ethan have a face? Give this man a face. Like, just let him be seen. There's literally videos and pictures out there of his face anyway. He's so bland, just let him go. He's dying. This man's dying out. Just let him be seen for once. You'll never see him again. And it takes you out of it, because then you're playing as Chris, and then all of a sudden it's all third-person cutscenes. Like, okay, just stick with one style. I hate that with every game that does that. Pick one, please. Thank you. That's all the cons. So here is the rundown. Number 10, Monster Hunter Rise. Number 9, Little Inferno. 8, Murder House. 7, Binding of Isaac Repentance. 8, Alien Isolation. 5, The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. 4, Yakuza 0. 3, Subnautica. 2 is Dusk. And 1 is Resident Evil Village. Those are my top 10 games of the year. Very good games. Now, I'd like to hear everybody else's opinions of their favorite games of the year. So what were your favorite games of the year? Also, face cam reveal. Here you go. Your presentation. Oh, it's not even done yet. Thanks for the presentation for the class. Thank you. What was everybody's game of the year for them? I'd like to hear. And does anybody disagree with any of mine? Does anybody think that another game should have filled that spot? I haven't finished it yet, but yours is Sword Art Online. Sword Art Online, yes, that name. Was that the Sword Art Online? Don't we have Ham doesn't have one? Just so Kami. So Kami. No. Ham's game of the year is Left 4 Dead 2 because we played that. That's the only game I know that you played this year. Mara, was it Fallout New Vegas? You can't say Fallout New Vegas because you probably play that every year. It has to be something you haven't played in years, or it's your first time. Subnautica. Yes, I'm it was very fun just like going back. I'm pretty sure if the criteria first time playing and finishing this year, yours is Gears of War 1 through 3. Oh, Gears of War. Okay. Good choice. I completely forgot you played that as well. So Hams is question marks. Ozel's is Sword Art Online, and then Mara's is Gears of War. Good games. Good games. But we're not done. Zombies, top 5 worst games of the year. And then Oki's was Nekopara. Ooh, I don't even know what that one is. I'll have to look that up. Was that the rhythm game you're talking about? Yes, we're not done. I still got my top 5 worst games of the year. PowerPoint's not done, everybody. Class needs to stay seated. Top of the Nekopara? What the fuck is Nekopara? I'm actually gonna Google this right now. Probably it's Fortnite, let's just assume. Nekopara. Okay. Game with Catgirl. Yes, there is more. There is a top 5 worst now. Not 10. I didn't even play 10 really bad ones that I could list. Whoops. There we go. Number 5. Fuck. Keep clicking on the wrong thing. Devil May Cry 4. We're about to trigger the hell out of Ham. There are gonna be some pros. There are gonna be a lot more cons though. Yeah. Oh no. This one is number 5 though. Like this is the one where it's almost didn't make the list. Your game of the year is Dishonored, Okies. Okay, it's a good one. So the story in this game is good. I do enjoy the story a lot. The fact that you play half of it as Nero is really cool. It's how they like introduce Nero. I like that. Yes, there are gonna be. this is. Oh, I'm gonna enjoy this. It's revenge time. There are a lot of fun characters. I don't remember Angus. Angus is really fun. Nero is really fun. All these characters are just really fun. Just they all have their own little sense of humor. And Angus especially. Dante's still the smug little son of a bitch he's always been. I love the part where he just like Nero revs his sword and then Dante just like mocks him by fakingly revs his. So good. There are some creative boss designs. Like you fight a giant plant snake thing that flies. There's a giant centaur demon cat. You fight an old bearded man. Oh, okay, maybe not that last one. Maybe that one might not have been that creative. You fight a giant bug man who's quote Shakespeare. A bunch of them I don't remember to be honest, but we're good. Nero is a very welcome addition. Nero is great. I love Nero. I almost like Nero more than Dante for a lot of it. Just his unique, his Buster was really fun. His gun, the revving wasn't great. His gun, I don't remember much of his gun. He had some fun combos. He didn't have the stinger that Dante had though. That was kind of annoying. Level variety is cool. You get snow levels, castle levels, city levels, forest levels, like floating sky level things. And then you like revisit them as Dante, and it's really neat because then you got a completely different playstyle, and they change. And you like fight some unique boss. You refight some boss, and you got a completely different playstyle. It's neat. And that's right. I put this in there. And this is in the pros, by the way. The kiss. There you go. The kiss is in the pros because it didn't happen. by the way. On to the cons. There's a lot of bullshit enemies. Oh my god. These enemies in this game they're like made for the wrong game. The game's like basically about juggling enemies. Getting combos and style, and most of them just don't. They're not made for that. It's really, really, really bad. And at least in my opinion, I hated over half of the enemies in this game. It's like, oh, they introduced a new one, and it sucks. Sucks ass. What I have against the kiss? I'm glad it didn't happen. I'm glad they didn't show it. Fight me. I didn't care if they didn't kiss. That was the thing. That was a fun little bit that we had. There's bullshit bosses. There's a lot of bullshit, especially the final bosses. Should have, and there we go. There we go. Post-traumatic kiss disorder. Remember it. Flashbacks. Yeah, the bosses were horrible. A lot of them were horrible. The frog one, I think the frog one was fine. It's just mainly the final bosses were just cancer. Bullshit final. Oh, there you go. Bullshit final bosses. Honestly, I can't remember half the bosses. I just remember most of them being like the earlier ones weren't that bad, but my god. And then the Lost Woods. So if anybody remembers, there was a part in the game where you play as Dante. And you basically have to walk through certain doorways or pathways in a certain order in order to escape. And I was stuck on it for like an hour. I couldn't leave, and there was no enemies, and it was super boring. That part in particular, I remember hating. And that was on. There's not too many cons. I mean, enemies, and bosses. That's kind of a big factor, but. That's why it's only number 5. I think there's a lot redeemable with DMC4. I do want to try it again at some point, maybe learn some more stuff, but as it was, definitely deserves to be on the list. Number 4. Brutal Legend. Oh, it hurts to put this on the list, but it's on the list. It's gonna be fun seeing as this list progresses. There's gonna be a lot less pros and a lot more cons. Like the pros are gonna get progressively less and less. This game is genuinely funny. It actually made me genuinely laugh. Like the humor was perfect for me. Like it's very rare for a game to make me actually genuinely laugh. Like have actual funny. Like there's like Yakuza, of course, but that's a lot of humor. A lot of humor is subjective. Like I make myself laugh because it's just like you put a lot of context onto stuff. But this, without any of that, it just like the jokes just worked by themselves. Good. It's really good. Jack Black. Yep. Literally don't need to say anything more about that. The premise is really interesting. Getting sucked into this metal world, like with different metal, like all these different famous metal musicians being like part of the story and you helping you, and you got to make your own band. You're like, it's just so interesting. Like you use a guitar, you use just like the power of metal. It's just really, really cool. The music is really good. I'm not a big fan of metal, and yet they played a lot of it's rock and metal. They have a lot of bangers in here. Got a lot of good music. And the first half of the game is amazing. The first stream we did of it was phenomenal. I was in love with this game. I couldn't wait to stream at the next one. And then the second half of the game is horrible. It was absolutely horrible. With tedious, bland combat. Really, 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 really bland combat. You have swing with axe, electric attack, and then I don't even know. There might have been another one in there. I couldn't tell you. That's how forgettable it was. You can like charge them. You can like do you can charge the attack, which does almost nothing anyway. It was I'm stretching Okies, I promise. But yeah, the combat was so lackluster. It wasn't serviceable. And then the RTS takes over, the real-time strategy. Like, the combat wasn't even that big of a thing because they just completely made it RTS. Like, I thought it was gonna be something minor, and then that's all it became. It was really bad at real-time strategy game. Really bad, and it was partially because I could change my controls, but that shouldn't be a factor in that game. Also, another pro would be that the title screen. The title screen is really good. The title screen was amazing, just like the intro. Made me so happy. But yes, it becoming a real-time strategy game was just so ass. Like it would have been fun. It would have been so much better if they just like, okay, let's space these out like in the beginning. But it was just like fight after fight after fight after fight with cutscenes in between, and I didn't give a single crap at all. Like, I literally stopped caring at the end of the game. It was at one point where they killed Ophelia, and I'm just like, I literally feel nothing. I should probably feel sad. Because the story made me so angry. Because it just stopped making sense. And the difficulty is absolute bullshit. The difficulty, I swear, didn't matter, but still sort of did. Like, easy was insanely hard for some reason. Like, you get overwhelmed, your troop, like, just the troop management was really crappy. You couldn't level them up with you couldn't level up your troops with my controls being swapped, so it probably was way harder than it should have been, but even still. It was a confusing mess. It was. Because you had to take over these towers, and it was so easy to just get in a loop of doing nothing. Like, oh, well, I've lost all the towers. Now I can do nothing. Literally, because they get all of these souls. It's just so punishing. View Brutal Legends a 7.5 out of 10. Only your opinion? That's good. This is all, like I said, this is all my opinion. If you enjoyed any of these games, then good on you. I just did not. It's not only worse, these are also disappointing. Like, so let me kind of give some background of this list. This list is not based on games that I knew were going to be bad. I could have put a lot of games in games I knew were going to be bad. These were games that I went in expecting amazing. Like, I expected like a good game. I shouldn't say amazing, but I expected like a good average game at least. DMC4, Brutal Legend. Like, these games are on this list because they are super disappointing. Like, they have potential. I went in with positivity. I didn't go in being like, okay, this is going to be a bad game. That's why they're on the list. Because I didn't go in hating them. The story gets bad halfway through the game. It's so funny because after that first stream, the story took a literal nosedive. It's amazing how immediately the game just went horrible. Lars died, Ophelia left, that one sister I didn't like, all of a sudden we became best friends with. Everything that could have been spread out into like 10 hours, like, this is the opposite of padding. They literally took 10 hours of game and just condensed it into 10 seconds. Like, what is happening? But there was a kiss? Sure, I guess. I don't even remember. My brain kind of deleted this game a little bit. Probably for a good thing to keep my sanity. That story was, ugh. I was still like invested because of that first half, but it was so, they just rushed it so badly. And it gets very repetitive. Yeah, the battles, it's just like, okay, we finished this fight, I'm mostly dead. 2 seconds later, oh look, it's another one. Right. It was, I don't know the story behind this game. I don't know if it was rushed, but the story just, it felt like they did the first half of the game and then they realized this game comes out tomorrow, you know that, right? It's like, oh shit, and they just shit it out. It's literally how it feels. It gets so repetitive. The combat, just getting all the troops. I was literally getting a headache playing this. It's not like, you're not thinking so hard. Like, it's not like headache because you're doing a hard puzzle. It's a headache because you're just like, it's like bashing your head against a rock kind of headache. That's Brutal Legend. That one hurts. That had a lot of potential. A lot of potential. I don't even remember the order of the list by the way. I don't even remember what number 3 is. Let's see. What's number 3? Star Wars The Force Unleashed. Want to know what's really cool? I found out while I was making this this presentation is that the abbreviation FU is literally in the title of this game. Star Wars FU. It's like awesome. I don't know how I didn't say that earlier. It makes sense now. It's literally FU. Perfect. Fitting. I went in with so much optimism with this game. It's not even funny. So much optimism, so much hope in my heart. We're getting into triggering territory here. We're gonna trigger some people. Pros. There's genuinely interesting characters. Like Coda is cool. Star Killer is cool. Like that lady's that lady pilot is fine. Shock T and her apprentice were really cool. They had like interesting characters that they had, and then well, I'm not gonna get negative on the pros part. You can customize your lightsaber, which is really neat. You can make it yellow, purple, blue, green, red, different shades of those. That I don't see much difference with. Like there's like 3 different shades of each color. That's really neat. I like that in a Star Wars game where you can actually customize your lightsaber. You can actually get purple. I think I did get the purple. You get like purple and pink. That's a really neat little thing you can do. The Force. Being able to force push. Now this is oh, I can already see Ham commenting now. Just being able to force pushing people left and right off of the maps. Those maps like the Cloud City one. Just chucking people left and right, just doing that, not even swinging my laser, just chucking people, just cheesing everybody was so fun. It was the best part of the game. The best part of the game. It was a shame there wasn't too many levels that actually had that ability. Otherwise, it probably would have been phenomenal. Level variety is not bad. There's like the Shock T's world is really cool. It's like fighting on the Wookiee planet's pretty neat. It's nice fighting in some unique levels. Chucking cheese. Basically. Sucking stormtrooper cheese. I'm trying to remember. That trash level wasn't very good. What other was there a snow one? I can't remember these levels now. But they had some pretty they had like a good variety of them. Interesting story premise. It's really interesting with Darth Vader having an apprentice and like trying to surpass Darth Sidious. I think that's really cool. Like he takes on an actual apprentice, and he has like his first time having actual feelings for another human being. And like if you go with the good ending, like his first feelings for another human being until like the actual movies. It was neat. Neat seeing that. Well, on to the cons. Frustrating combat. Combat is really not great. Really not great. Especially when you can't force push people off ledges. There's a lot of enemy spam in this game. They will just chuck a crap ton of enemies at you. Like, that just shoot you. And you have to fight them. It's just nothing really works. Like you're a close range character in a long range fight. There's a lot of stun lock. There's a lot of stun lock in this game. Get knocked down a lot. There's not really a way to easily heal. I honestly can't remember if there is healing at all. I think there was a little bit, but I don't even remember fully. But there's not, if you get a hit, there's not really a way to get that health back. Like killing enemies, I don't remember if that gives you health. It doesn't give you much, but during boss fights, it can be really annoying because should have at least some sort of like regen system, I feel. But this one doesn't. and it's just every encounter is just a chore. Every single one. Especially when everybody shoots you in the back. Force controls are not great. When you actually like grab objects and you like chuck them, it's really clunky. At least on PC or console. On Wii it might be better, but we're not talking about the Wii. We're talking about this. The force, like, it's fun when you're actually grabbing people, but grabbing objects is not good. Like, you're just like grabbing all these crap. And you just like, do you want to move it forward or left or right? Well, guess what? It doesn't matter because it's going whichever way it damn well pleases. And I don't even remember what lightning was. Lightning was kind of pointless. I think I sort of remember, especially against bosses, it did almost nothing. Where is am I gonna get to the trigger one yet? Levels get tedious. The levels are really, you have to go through the levels twice, and you're not going through the exact same parts, but it's just you have to go through the trash level like I think twice. Just oh my god, just, they're just like strung together so loosely. It's like we need to go back here, we need to go back here, we need to go back here, we need to go back here. It's like you hit the middle point of the game. It's like now go back to every single level. Bro, lightning shield. We'll see. You're forced to fight boring, difficult encounters. That's what I was talking about earlier. Is you're chucked into a lot of rooms where you have to fight to leave. You can't just run through everything. If you could, it would be so much better. But you're literally chucked into a room with like 80 stormtroopers, or like these combat troopers, and they're super tanky, and she gets stun locked. It's just so freaking frustrating. You get ATs or ATSTs shooting at you. Yeah. Boss fights are horrible. Hitbox is horrible. I remember that Rancor fight sucking. I remember that dual wielding miniature guy, like the second boss, being horrible. Coda was fine. That TIE fighter fight at the end was really bad. I remember that's when I turned down to easy because you couldn't heal. Shock T sucked. I don't remember what other bosses there were. Pretty forgettable, to be honest. Rancor 1 could have been cool. It could have been. But no! It sucked. Yeah, the Rancor spam was also... The Rancor sucked. Like, the parts where you had to fight those Rancors. Tanky enemies just up the wazoo. There you go! There you go, it's in the cons. Electric Shield is not a shield. It's a buff, like resin from Dark Souls. It's not a shield. And it's not even a good buff. I refuse to use it. And that's why it's on the cons. It's shit. Actual garbage. Take it out of the game. I am excited to play the sequel at some point, though, just to see what that's like. Yes. Electric Shield. Of course it's gotta be on there. And one of the most sad things is that this game is not canon. I mean, there isn't really that much story. I remember there being a lot more story, but the story is really shallow in this one. Like, they just like start chucking you around randomly. Like, it's like, go here, go here, go here, go here. You're good now, go here, go here. There's like nothing really happening. But it's a shame that these characters are not canon. They could have really built on these. And on to number 2. My god. Number 2. Silent Hill Homecoming. The PC port, at least. This one makes me sad. Pros. Oh, this is where the pros list gets really short. Pros. There's some interesting enemy and bosses. Like Scarlet's interesting. That one, the final child is cool. Like their appearance wise, not combat wise, appearance. They look cool. Schism looks cool. That one hammerhead looking thing was kind of neat. That's basically it. That Josh reveal. I still like the Josh reveal that he's actually that Alex accidentally killed him when they were younger and he gave him horrible PTSD. That still is one of my favorite parts in the game. But yeah, some levels are good, some are kind of great. There's the Actually exploring like the foggy area foggy areas, like the cemeteries, are kind of fun. You get that Sound Hill, you actually get that Sound Hill vibe. The hotel is kind of neat. The hotel is a fun area. The prison I thought was kind of good. I don't remember the levels now. Yeah, some of the early levels, like the hotel and all that, are actually really cool. The hospital in the beginning is kind of fun. It has that Sound Hill feel, like the fog. It actually does capture some of that, but it's kind of on face level. The story is interesting. I do like the story for the most part. I do like that the child sacrifices whole thing, and the guilty parents, and the parents are getting punished, and it all kind of revolves around Josh in the end. But that's it for cons. Couldn't really go too much into depth on any of those pros, to be honest. Filled with plot holes. So this game has so many plot holes that, oh my god, it has more plot holes than anything I can ever think of. It literally just tears apart all the other Silent Hill games, if they count this as canon, because it doesn't. Nothing makes sense. Nothing makes sense. They just completely. They didn't even. They probably like looked at the cliff notes of the Silent Hill games and they're just like, okay, we got it. The combat. Oh my god, the combat. Oh my god, the combat. It is good. Why did I put this on the cons? Erase that. You're gonna give your list of best games. This one. Yeah, you literally have to use the knife. The knife is the only good weapon in the game. I really wanted to use the axe or the pipe or just anything else, but you literally have to use the knife, and you dodge the side. It doesn't matter. Dodging is pointless in this game. It's absolutely pointless. You get hit anyway. Just such ass combat. Just some of the worst I've ever encountered. Even worse than Force Unleashed. So that really puts in perspective. The audio is really bad. The audio is really unbalanced. That's because of the PC port directly. There's so many problems with the audio. It's so quiet in some points, and some so loud in others. The mixing is terrible. Yeah, the port is just broken in general. You have to like go into the files and mod some stuff in order to make this game work, and it still hardly works. You can't play it in full screen because also you alt tab out of it, it crashes. I can't remember if it crashed at all during my playthroughs, but so many things you have to do to actually make this game even playable, and it's hardly. Oh yeah, that's right. That is a big con right there. That's a big one. It's Konami made this, so. Oh look, another one. The Order. That's really shit. A really stupid thing to put in a Silent Hill game. Let's put human enemies that with guns and pipes and knives and shit, and that's such a good idea. Oh, yes. Pyramid Head should not be in this game. It makes absolutely no sense. That's one of the things that breaks canon. Is Pyramid Head is directly tied to James Sunderland from Silent Hill 2, and they just love to slap Pyramid Head everywhere now, because why not? Even though it makes no sense for him to be in this game. He doesn't do anything. Pyramid Head does nothing in this game. He's just there to be like, okay, this is Silent Hill. See, look, big triangle man. See, like the movie, yay. Stupid assholes, Konami. Ending unlocks are dumbed down. Ending unlocks literally there's 3 things that determine what ending you're gonna get. Did you forgive your mother? Or did you kill your mother? Did you forgive your father? And did Wheeler die? 3 things. And you can get the stupid troll ending, like the dog one. They have the UFO ending. You can get first playthrough on accident. If you don't kill your mom, if you don't forgive your father, and you save Wheeler, you get the UFO ending. So the ending of the game on your first playthrough could just be some random. Everybody gets picked up by UFOs, gets kidnapped by aliens. So freaking lazy. Like in the other ones, it used to be like, how many enemies do you kill? How many times do you look at the picture of your wife? Like there's so many cool things that determine which ending you would get, and now it's just so dumbed down. So lazy. So lazy! Etc. I didn't want to make even, I couldn't make more slides. I didn't want to. Like I'm gonna dedicate one to each, so there's more. There's too many to count. There's so many more things, but that's like the base. Number 1. I bet everybody knows what this one is. This one's gotta be, this one's obvious. GTA, the trilogy, for real this time. Big surprise. Oh, I bet everybody saw this one coming. The pros. Graphics are an improvement. Grab that auto defective edition, yeah. Graphics are an improvement somewhat. That's debatable. Chair simulation? Chair simulator is better than this. Way better. Because chair simulator knows what it is. This game doesn't. They're beatable. These games are, you can beat these games. You know, you can complete them. And drive-bys are better, you know. Okay, that's it. That's it for the good parts. It's literally, I skimmed through all my pros and I picked out I looked at all the ones. Okay, which ones actually matter, like in the long haul, and those are the only 3. Is the games can actually be completed, the graphics are a little bit better, and drive-bys are a little bit better. That's it. You disagree with the pros? Those pros, I needed to put something, so half of those the drive-bys are better though. There are no pros. Those drive-bys are better, which is nice. They are beatable. I mean, you'll suffer your way through them. I don't know how people, like, there's so many people. I've been looking on Reddit to see if there's any news or any, like, just to see if there's any more glitches or any patch news. And there's, every time I see somebody mention the Switch version, they're talking about, like, I don't know why everybody's talking about the Switch version being shit. It's amazing. I haven't run into a single glitch or anything. I was like, are you high? Are your standards so low that it must have been trolls or something? It doesn't make. Absolutely. This is also for the Switch version. Yeah. Your number 1 is just Underokis, 2 The Walking Dead Season 1, 3 is Mafia 1, 4 is Far Cry 3, 5 is Just Cause 2, 6 Sleeping Dogs, 7 Batman Arkham Asylum, 8 Spec Ops The Line, 9 The Walking Dead Last Season, and 10 is Call of Juarez Gunslinger. Cool! Impressed you were able to make a full thing. Con, too many lists. Just slap the cons on. Okay, so here are the cons. The frame rate is a joke. It's not as bad in 3 and as Vice City anymore. And San Andreas is not the worst, but it's... They dip way more than they should. You'll be driving, and it will suddenly go down to, like, 15 frames per second. It's so inconsistent. It's an actual plague on this world. Like, I've never seen a port run so poorly. Never before have I seen a port run so poorly. The frame rate is just... Fix it. Fix it. Please. Disgusting pop-in. It's amazing. This is mainly thing... No, it's all a problem with all of them. Cars will pop in like 10 feet in front of you. Good luck trying to do races or half the freaking missions in this game. You'll like in GTA 3, you'll look on one of the other islands, and you'll guess what? That building way over there, is that even a building? No, it looks like somebody just took a giant chunk of newspaper, dumped it in some water, and then spread it out. It looks like it's melted garbage. And it's the worst with GTA San Andreas. I refuse to play San Andreas. I refuse until they fix it. It makes me so sad when you just flying around every building is just a blob. The trees do pop in a little bit sooner, which is nice, or they don't have to worry about popping there. They at least show them, but the leaves pop in. It just looks fucking horrible. And half the stuff you get close to it still doesn't pop in. The cars, the gang members, everything's got horrible pop-in. Character models are fucking terrible. There are more bugs in the classics. They actually somehow introduced more bugs than the originals. And plus, they still have, like, with GTA 3, when I did my 100% run, they still have game-breaking bugs, which is really fun. Thank you. Surprised nobody's talked about this before. Nobody's mentioned this. I'm apparently the only person in the world who didn't know about this glitch or had it happen to them. Like, look all around and nobody has it. Graphics are too blurry. Oh, that's a wrong kind of two, but you know that's okay. It's about as half-assed as this port, so pretty fitting. Probably should be a little bit more spelling errors. I put a little bit more effort than they did. I should have just ran this pros and cons through an AI and then let it fucking do the work for me. That would have been really fucking cool. Thanks, Grove Street Games. Oh, I'm getting a little bit bitter. I'm sorry. Actually, I'm not sorry. This game deserves it. I take my apology back. The apology video will be deleted. In real thought, it is because it's been a month since they've had a patch. What are they doing? This is why this is number one. This is, if I did play Cyberpunk this year, Cyberpunk wouldn't even be as bad. So this was guaranteed number one. The graphics are really blurry. Like, it's running at like 480. To be running 720 at minimum. I mean, I'm literally playing Witcher 3 on my Switch, a game that came out like half the time that these games came out, and with 50 times more detail, and it 0 frame rate dips, 0 pop in. No excuse. They removed so many small details from the game. They fixed a couple of these. You got Cyberpunk and it's pretty good so far. I mean, it's been patched a lot, so it should be pretty playable now, which is good. But back when it first came out, it was a mess. They fixed a lot of the small details, but there's still so many missing, like in GTA 3 and Vice City. The newspaper that says Zombie Elvis on it, gone. The stores close at nighttime in GTA San Andreas, gone. There's still instead of like having an actual massive, like if you keep going swimming out in the ocean, like if I did the if you do the honk boost, there's a wall at the edge of the world now, so it teleports you back to the world. There's like a limit to the world now for some reason. Is Cyberpunk gonna be fixed? This is a fix that broke the original. Yeah. There's so many small minor things. There's so many character models that are wrong. OG Ryder's arms are still like 50 times the length of his body, and I'm pretty sure they're still probably growing. When you drink a soda can out of a vending machine, the can doesn't even touch his hand anymore. It used to in the original. Literally built from the mobile ports. They didn't even use the right fucking ports. They didn't use the PS2 or the PC one. They just used the mobile one they already had because who knows? No effort, literally no effort. They let AI do half the freaking work for them. You can hear it in my voice. It makes me really sad. Pathetic. It still makes me sad. But it took something I love so much, and it's ruined it so much for me. Like taking Skyrim and just ruining that, or Luigi's Mansion. Imagine them making Luigi's Mansion is ruining that for me. Radio songs missing. There's so many. The list is so long I couldn't fit it on 50 slides. Ugh. Etc. Just absolute trash. I had to put that at the end. I just had to. There's so many. I could have put an etc on that etc. There's so many things that are wrong with it. Like I'm gonna be posting this. I'm gonna be posting this video tomorrow. and I'm gonna post my GTA trilogy video review on as well, because I could, like, literally there's like a 3-hour video that just has way more. It's just so many things, and there's so many things I didn't even touch. Yo, Dead Rising 4. Dead Rising 4, no, would not even get close to this list. I went in knowing I didn't like that game, so it wouldn't be on the list, and it actually impressed me more than it did when it first launched. So it actually wouldn't be anywhere near this list. And the screwed over console players, yes, there's that. Like, there's still fucking people over. It's pathetic. So here's the list. Number 5, Devil May Cry 4. 4, Brutal Legend. 3, Star Wars: The Force Unleashed. 2, Silent Hill Homecoming. And 1 is Grand Theft Auto Trilogy. If I didn't make this a list of 10, number 10 would be Devil May Cry 4. Number 9 would be Brutal Legend. Number 8 would be Star Wars: Force Unleashed. And number 7. Wait. Yeah, 7 would be Silent Hill Homecoming, and the other 6 would be GTA, Grand Theft Auto, the trilogy. Literally, it could fill 6 slots. It's that bad. Like, Silent Hill Homecoming looks like a masterpiece compared. Like, I knew what I was getting into with Homecoming. Even it still was horrible. But yeah, that's my top 10 games of the year and top 5 worst. What was everybody's worst game of the year? What was everybody's? And not GTA Trilogy. Unless they have to, because that's just a gimme. Rockstar be like, you buy a very shitty game, but you get free very good game. Yes, but that's no excuse. Kane and Lynch 2. Kane and Lynch 2 is probably better than GTA Trilogy. Because Kane and Lynch 2 is not a simple port of a previous game. Crab Game? Crab Game is the worst game for you? Really? It's hard. It's a lot harder to find shittier games than good games, in my opinion. What the fuck's my head with my hair? Fucking windy today. It's fun though. It is fun, but it's one of those games where you need a bunch of people to play it with. Crab Game community. Yeah, it's probably pretty toxic. Eh, whatever. My hair is about as high effort as the GTA trilogy. I had to shovel earlier, so a lot of wind messed it up, but yeah, the community of Crab Game is kind of shit. I didn't go in though. Like, Crab Game is just kind of one of those meme games that is just, it's not really gonna last that long, I feel. It's just gonna kind of, well, it might, but it's literally just like the back off the hype of another thing. Who knows? It's, if you want to play a good crab game, just play Fall Guys. Literally it. Thank you for the thought and effort you put into the stream. I spent a lot of time. I wanted to make sure that I gave every game a lot of thought. I hope everybody liked it. I hope nobody's like disappointed in me using PowerPoint or Google Slides. Gamer of the Year. Thank you. Thank you. I definitely, next time I do this, I do want to build off of it. I want to add some gameplay. Like, show some gameplay. Oh, I got so, like, that ending just made me sad. I should have done all the worst ones first, and then ended with the good ones. God damn. But that's my list. That's another year down the drain. There's only more to come, more games to add to that list.